All right, we are almost ready to go. 2-hour endurance race time for the intermediate and junior bikes. So mostly SV 650s up the sharp end of this field. Qualifying on pole, the team of SJ Cavell and Matt Bro, defending champions in this event. And Matt looks like he's going to get out there and set the pace. We've got Dylan Telford and Bruce. Dylan Telford, part of the TR20 team with Dave Fellows, his teammate, though. That's going to be a good pairing as well. Here we go. Shotgun's gone and we're underway with this one here. So Matt Bro gets a pretty good run across there. A great start from the number 49, Vaughn Main, as well. He's on an SV 650 as well. We've got plenty of action here. A couple get caught up on the line, but away we go. There we go with a cool pairing in the 300 Super Sport aspect. We've got a big welcome to the man from Christchurch, our Yamaha R1 pilot from the Blue Crew Yamaha team. It's great to have him up here. He's with Caleb Gilmour, so awesome stuff to see Jake Lewis riding out there on his 300. That is the BAS expansion joints kind of London machine, so Caleb Gilmour's going to be campaigning that one there. We've got Vaughn's just having a bit of trouble coming out of turn 5. We'll keep an eye on that one there, but Matt Bro is going to lead them out of turn number 7. Then we've got Dylan Telford right there in second place as well, and Jared Horne team out with Ben Rosendale, so that'll be a good pairing as well. So they go into the race course section, our race leaders. It's 3 of them already in there at the moment. Great stuff. Vaughn Main, he had a great start, got the good Le Mans start on the shotgun, but he's got bike troubles. I think he's pulled up a little bit there coming out of turn number 7, so bike trouble, bit of drama already for the team of Vaughn Main and Sam Houston there, so keep an eye on that one there. Unlucky stuff. Vaughn and Tyler, sorry. So Vaughn Main and Tyler Brown, that's the pairing there. Got the great Le Mans start, but unfortunately for him, the bike doesn't seem to be firing properly at all. So down the back straight we go with our race leaders. Matt Bro under pressure from Dylan. Dylan going to dial up the inside into the flip-flop, so a change for position in the lead. It looks to be Dylan Telford ahead now of Matt Bro as they come out of turn 14 and fire it up. This is a 2-hour endurance race, so already Dylan going to put this head down and try and clear out of this one. So he's the fastest man on track, a 1:52 outlap, so pretty good pace already with the Le Mans start. And then so we've got Matt Bro in second place. Jared Horne gets up into third place. We've got Nathan Jane now on the back of these guys as well. So that is our 650 Pro Twin national champion. He did the 3-peat over the summer. He won the Grand Prix, the TT and the national title, so he's going to certainly be one of the men to beat out there at the moment. But we've got a 2-hour long endurance race. You don't get any points for leading at this stage of the race, so it's all coming down to getting yourself in a position to be competitive on the final lap. So there we go. But look at Dylan Telford already stretching out a bit of an advantage. Cool to have him on a super light machine. I think it's a 450. So there it is with that one there. Dave Fellows as well riding that machine. We'll keep an eye on what they have to do. They might be sharing the bike, so we'll keep an eye on that. We might have to see them take a bit of a hit in the pit lane when they have to refuel and share the same bike when the other competitors, all they're doing is swapping the transponder over to their teammate. It was certainly an advantage to have the 2 bikes, but out at the moment flying into turn 11, Dylan Telford, he is a man who had some international experience, had wins in Italian superbike racing on an Aprilia machine. That was great to follow his endeavours when he was over in Europe. Now come back home, and the TR20 Motorsport team, I mean, they do some cool stuff and working on some great bikes at the moment. As we watch our race leaders into the flip-flop, it is Dylan Telford. Nathan James got himself into second place as well. And fantastic stuff. Matt Bro in third place, and we've got Jared Horne in there coming in hot in 4th place. So that's a full pack already dominating this race, but we are only 3.5 minutes into this one with a massive hour and 55 minutes to go. Right up here, it is my pleasure to have in the commentary box, coming in 4th place, first ever road racing meeting. Shari, how did that feel?
It was exciting a couple of times, yeah.
Nah, awesome. It's great to have you ladies out there, and you and Deb having a good little battle in 3rd and 4th place there. How did that feel, getting some racing in?
Well, that was my first time ever, so that was really interesting. It was a track day feel with a bit more encouragement.
Okay, awesome. So half an hour out there, how did that feel? Was that pretty tiring? Pretty good?
Actually, it just started to get a bit tiring. It's just not enough 30 minutes.
That's so good. No, well done to you and the other ladies in there. So making the Gilmour 150 half an hour endurance race pretty cool, pretty exciting. So have you caught the bug? Do you reckon you're going to keep going racing?
Oh, it's hard to say, it's hard to say. Put it this way, there's a lot of ground for me to go upwards.
Absolutely, so that's so cool. Well done to Shari and all the other ladies out there. So in the 150 endurance race, fabulous to have new people coming racing, and full credit to the CCMR, the Circuit Club Motorcycle Register, and the Bruce Mclaren Motorsport Park in conjunction with Tony Reeves Motorcycles and Team Reeves Racing. This Learn with Reeves weekend, and we're in the 2-hour endurance race at the moment. And in the front, but only just, is Dylan Telford, and he's flying on the number 20 machine. We've got Nathan Jane piling on some pressure there in 2nd place, so absolutely nothing in the battle at the moment. We go back to 3rd place, which is Matt Rowe, the team of Matt and SJ, the defending champions. Sitting in 3rd place at the moment, Jared Horne teaming up with Ben Rosendale, so 2NZ Ben Rosendale. He'll be certainly a factor when he gets on there for his 2nd stint. We've got Curtis and Richard Boyd out there, so bringing us the first of our 300 Supersport entries. But I think they might be sharing the bike as well, so they might get a bit hurt when it's time to refuel. We've got Caleb Gilmour and Jake Lewis. Jake out on track at the moment. Brilliant to have Jake Lewis come up from Christchurch to join us here, and teaming up with Caleb Gilmour, a young man on the rise in New Zealand road racing. Campbell Grunding and Sean Parker. I think it's Campbell out there in the first stint as well. He's on the Team Biggs Racing R3, so he's top 5 in 300 Supersport racing last summer, and it'll be fantastic to see these 300s going for it. Hammer and Tyne. Vaughn Main and Tyler Brown. Unfortunately, Vaughn got the great start, but he's had some bad bike trouble, so we'll keep an eye on where they can end up. We've got James Thompson and Henry Goff out there. That's position 9 for them at the moment. I think they're sharing the bike as well, so they might, again, like we talk about, have to get a bit of a penalty when they have to refuel the bike. We've got Sam Husendor Matosha out there, and we've got Mihi Banks and Clive Banks, the father and daughter duo, and Mihi, self-appointed team captain, has put herself out there, so she's out there rider number 1. And we've got John Gianni and Lewis Shaw out there, so 12 entries out on track, and this is going to be good 2 hours, and already Nathan Jane making sure he is a presence out there. He's just lapping nearly 2 seconds quicker than Dylan on that lap around, and gets himself into 1st place. So Nathan Jane teaming up with Jacob Stroud. It's certainly on paper one of the top teams there, Jared.
Incredible turnout here. Nathan Jane there, great to see. Jacob Stroud's been doing a fair bit of riding up at the Auckland Club Champs and stuff. Nice to see Dylan Telford and David Fellows turning up. SJ, great little bit of qualifying and stuff. Good to see him out there. But Jared Horne, very super impressed with him up at Auckland Motorcycle Club. Haven't seen much of him, just apparently started. So he's come along, mates with Ben Rosendale. He told him to come along. You're a great road rider, pretty good at motocross, jumps on this thing. Spectacular at Auckland, so cool to see this new blood coming through into the pack. Also, Callum Gilmour, super impressed with him up at the Auckland Club Champions. Incredible scraps there with Jacob and Jesse Stroud as well. And Jacob actually managing to win or break the lap record up there, so the pace is super fast. But at the moment, we've got Nathan Jane out there doing his bizzo, and just watching the lap times, which everyone will be doing in the pits, and a huge thank you to Ctas making it all possible. If you're not here at the track, you can be sitting at home and watching this stuff live on your laptop. But keeping an eye on those lap times, 45s is Nathan Jane and Jacob Stroud there, and drops down to a 47 and then a 46 and a 47. So the boys are pretty close, but there is a little bit more than a second in between them.
Yeah, so definitely someone to watch. Jared Horne on track there, up into 3rd place now with a bit of clear track ahead of him, and he'll be interesting to see. He was a 1:46.8. That was his fastest lap of the race last time round. They'll be getting some heat in the tyres. Everything will start feeling natural again, and all the pre-race nerves will be worn off. So this is going to be good. And Nathan Jane, well, 1:45. He was nearly 2 seconds quicker than the man behind him, Dylan Telford. So this is going to be a real statement for Nathan Nathan Jane, who was very, very impressive over the summer.
You see in 6th position, we've got Caleb Gilmour and Jake Lewis. Is that the first of the 300 bikes out there? So we've got Pro Twins out there, which is the 650s, and Dylan Telford out there on a special thing as well. And then we've also got 300s in there as well.
Yes, I think Curtis and Richard, father and son duo, they're sharing a 300 as well. That's awesomely presented Red Bull Yamaha R3, so they're slightly ahead, but only just 0.4 of a second when they cross the line. Be interesting to see that battle out on track. So race leaders into the flip-flop. Nathan Jane, man, he is looking class at the moment. Fires it out of there. And ready to tick off another lap. So we've only done 11 minutes of this one. Massive hour 49 to go. And there we go, just another 1:45.2. So faster again that time around from Nathan Jane. 2 seconds quicker than Dylan Telford, back in second place. And then Matt Bro's got himself back up into third ahead of Jared Horne. So Jared at 1:47.9. So that was over a second and a half slower than he just did in the last lap around. So that's a pretty handy 4-pack. And the battle for third, pretty hot into the S's. But we've got a long race to go, so no point going too crazy at this early stage, but you do have to make sure you stay in touch so you can be a factor at the business end.
Definitely. Beautiful style there, Nathan Jane. We got to see him last year at the Pro Twins, and he was the benchmark in the Pro Twins. Dylan Telford, he's just sort of jumped onto this thing, fresh into the Class 2, so great to have him out there. But a long time pilot out there, SJ in third position, and he's got the brand new boy Jared Horne there sitting on his tail there, and he's that's a great little team there with Ben Rosendale as well.
Yeah, that's going to be quite a good factor. So we've got to also keep in mind that these guys do about a half an hour stint. You've got to make 3 compulsory changes in this race, and you've got to do 55% as a maximum of the race. So this guy's out there with a bit of body work coming off down in turn 11. We have to hope one of the marshals can clear that up. It's off the line, but it is in a precarious position. We'll keep an eye on that one there as we see the Ctas live update. Not sure what happened. He's just dragging a bit of fairing there, and maybe the belly pan, a couple of the bolts come off there. So that looks to be Dylan Telford, the man who's running in second place. I'm not sure that 450, that might be quite affected without a belly pan on. We'll see what happens to them. They got the chance to come in early, but they've only done 12 minutes. It would really throw their whole schedule into disarray if they come in this early, but we'll see what happens there. It might be just too much to carry on with.
Looks like he has got a little bit of a gap from that incident. Dylan dropping back a little bit there, doing 49. So yeah, it obviously would have heard that belly pan flicking off, and he's still out there upright, and that's the main thing. Just keep ticking those laps off. But Nathan Jane, the benchmark, super flowy style. He is the Pro Twins New Zealand champion, and he's the Pro Twins champion for a reason. Beautiful style. Have seen him up at the Auckland Club and some of the test days out there testing a ZX6. Hopefully he can get a ride. Hopefully there's an opportunity that can pop up for him. Beautiful to see him out there on the 600. Zach Fuller's jumped up onto the 600 as well. And then you've got all the other boys from last year. A lot of big changes happening this season, which is going to make it super duper exciting. We've got Richie Dibbin jumping up onto 1,000. We've got Jaden Hassan that's turned back up. Hasn't ridden, former New Zealand Superbike champion, hasn't ridden for years, and still got it. And yeah, it's going to be great to see.
Yeah, so I'm very excited about the summer coming up. And Nathan Jane, yeah, man, he is silky smooth and a very accomplished 600 Super Sport rider. A couple of seasons ago, found himself in the 650 Pro Twin class, and yeah, like you said, he was the benchmark. He was the pinnacle. Did the three-peat. Not many people did that last year. Won the GP at round 1, and then he won the TT at round 3, and won the title comfortably in the end. So he was the pinnacle of Pro Twins racing. Did the three-peat, the TT, the GP, and the title, and showing us all how it was possible. Still lapping those 145s. He was a 145.293, and then matches it. So still in the 145s. That is the ultimate in endurance racing. If you can just get into a groove and start ticking some laps off, he's got a pretty decent advantage now over Dylan Telford there. So that's out to now 10.2 seconds. So that's even in endurance racing, 10.2 seconds. That's quite considerable with only 14 minutes into this race.
You see, second place Dylan Telford has responded a little bit. He's dropped a second as well, so he's into the 48s. But yeah, maybe that belly pan or something has happened, and that has given Nathan Jane that advantage. See him just scooting past there, one of the 300 bikes. That was Mihi Banks. Great to see her out there, one of the other Team Reeves riders as well. And yeah, this is an interesting class for the NZSBK. Very interesting class. They do run controlled tyres. The majority of them are on the Pirellis, and they have to make these tyres last for the 3 laps. So these guys should be pretty good with their setups and conserving tyres and stuff as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw over the last summer, 300 Supersport racing was so competitive, and there was actually 3 competitive tyre manufacturers for the only classes to have sort of a tyre parity there. We saw the Team Biggles team, they had Dunlops, and Jason Horne ended up P3 overall. Campbell Grayling, who's out there at the moment, he's teamed up with Sean Parker. They're in 8th place at the moment, but I think about the 3rd 300. So yeah, Dunlops were pretty competitive. We had Bridgestones as well. We had the boys out in front with Nathaniel Diprose. He had Pirellis, and then Jacob Stroud in second had the Bridgestones and Dunlops. And so we had so many different options, and it was actually pretty cool to see in the end.
One of the interesting things I sort of thought was, obviously riding a Superbike one, you don't sort of look at the lesser classes, but helping Zach Fuller out last year for the Pro Twins gave me a good understanding. The racing is absolutely spectacular with guys like Nathan Jane and SJ Cavell out there in Rosedale, and they can pull the trigger in all classes. And then also up in the Auckland Motorcycle Club too, we had an incredible meeting there with Caleb Gilmour and the 2 Strouds having a battle. But Caleb's been over in Australia, he's got some good international success, and he's a fine young man, one of our top New Zealand up-and-coming riders. But Curtis Boyd and Richard Boyd out in front, and what a tussle, man. This 300 racing is spectacular. There is 2 of them going at it at the moment, but come summertime, there's going to be a huge amount of them.
Yeah, so there we go. That's crossing the line. That's our 300 Supersport battle. It is on screen at the moment for those tuning into Ctas Live. So that is Curtis Boyd out there. We saw his father Richard in the Jigsaw 150 race just a short moment ago, and catching the breath, ready to be the rider number 2. And the man in behind him on the 78 machine, that is Jake Lewis, a former 600 Supersport champion. He was the World Junior European champion back in I think 2013 in his season when he dominated the European junior scene over there with Avalon Biddle overseas. That was so cool to watch the progress there. And Jake Lewis had a couple of podiums in Superbike racing last year. Very, very accomplished rider, and this is cool to see him come down here, or come up here really from Christchurch, come all the way to have fun on a 300 team with Caleb Gilmour. So on paper, certainly the team to beat there on the 300s, but Curtis doing a good job at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you know, you're pretty special when you can ring Jake Lewis up and fly him up to the North Island to be your fill-in rider. So, yeah, he wouldn't have ridden a bike. He's been out on an R1, so jumping on this little 300, he's obviously just getting his feet sorted and finding out where the power is and how to slipstream. But like you touched on as well, European Junior Champion and also the partner of Avalon Biddle, and I was fortunate to be over in Europe and see her get her success. What another proud moment with an incredible New Zealand sports athlete. Like both of them, huge things. That was a huge accomplishment to go to the other side of the world, be by themselves, and then come home with a title like that. It's just incredible.
Absolutely. Brilliant stuff. So let's keep an update from the top. Nathan Jane still lapping in the 145s. He's done that about 6 laps in a row now, so very impressive stuff. He's got a 14.1 second advantage. Back to Dylan Telford in second place. He's got a pretty comfy 3 seconds back to Matt Bro on the CD Vandermeer Builders Pro Twins team. Then we go to Jared Horne, who's lead rider there. 7 seconds back off 3rd place. He was up into 3rd at the earlier part of this race, but now finds himself in a pretty comfy 4th place. Then we go back to the 300, so doing a good job. They're only 21 seconds off that 4th SV650 entry, so pretty impressive stuff in these 300s. We've got Jake Lewis now. Only 0.2 of a second behind Curtis Boyd, so he'll be finding his mojo on the R3. We've got Vaughn, Main and Tyler Brown. They're on a 650, but unfortunately for Vaughn, the good start had a bit of bike problems. He's still circulating out there, so lapping okay in the 148s, but yeah, I'm not sure what happened in the early part of the lap. For him, he had a really good start and has slipped back to 7th place. Campbell Grayling out there on track. He's teamed up with Sean Parker. That'll be a good one there. So that's P3 and 300s, P8 overall. James Thompson and Henry Goff out there. That's P9 for them. And then Doyle Matosha with Sam Houston. Sam Houston out there at the moment. We'll go back to Mickey Banks, teaming up with Dan Clive. So that's a pretty good lap for them. So Mickey in the 159. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that because Clive desperate to try and beat that lap time. so we'll keep an eye on that one. We've got a bit of drama down in the flip-flop there. We've got a bike on track. Not sure who that is. It might be looking like Dylan Telford, maybe. I think the TR20 leathers. We'll just keep an eye on that one. It's unofficial at this stage, but managed to self-recover, so full credit there. We'll see if we can keep an update on that one. It looks to be Dylan because he hasn't come up on the timing screen, so a bit of drama there, Jared.
Yeah, definitely. We saw him lose the belly pan down over the back before, and I've been keeping an eye on his lap times. He had dropped down. He was matching Nathan there on lap times, but then he unfortunately dropped like a couple seconds. So yes, something has gone on with the bike, and yeah, we see him take the front. I did see a little bit of smoke. That's what alerted me to it. But yeah, I'd be looking at Jared Horne and SJ Cavell, because SJ seemed to drop his lap times, and he's walking up as well to the fight. So it's going to be an interesting one, this one.
Yeah, so played right in the hands of Nathan Jane, who now has a 19.2 second advantage, and well and truly in cruise control. Finally dipped into the 146s that last time around. So 146.06, so hardly into the 146s. Very consistent professional lap times. And Nathan Jane, if there's ever some lines you want to go and get one of these young fellas, Nathan Jane's the man you want to follow. He is just so silky smooth and accurate, and showing us why he is the Pro Twin champion.
Definitely, you touched on that. He's so smooth. He's good in all conditions, dry and wet. He's got such a nice, beautiful style. Also, you mentioned before too, Mihi Banks and Mr. Banks out there as well. And that's another cool thing with endurance racing. We've got father and son and female daughter and father and stuff as well. So great to see the family thing coming along and teaming up and doing this endurance champs.
Yeah, so cool to have Clive and Mihi out there, and welcome to Turiana. We see all her in the pits as well, so the full Banks show on display here, and Clive, talking to him earlier yesterday, and he's pretty keen. He believes if he can pull it off, it'll be the first father and daughter at the cemetery circuit if they can all enter that one there. So that's what he's pushing on at the moment. A few little political red tapes he's got to try and sort out, but here we go with that one there. So awesome to have the Banks team out there, Clive and Mihi. And Clive, there it is, a 1:59.1. Mihi getting faster and faster. The green time on the MXT screen means that's the fastest lap last time around. So Mihi getting faster and faster, dipping into 1:59.1. So Clive's got his work cut out for him when he gets out there.
Don't want to get beaten by your daughter. It is a good little family dust up, and it took me till I was 23 before I could actually scalp my dad, but he didn't take that too well. He put up a good fight.
Yeah, he did actually. I remember those times actually.
Had the lesser of the two good bikes and stuff. I had the faster one, so that sort of helped me out. But today in the Superbike pack, we're going to see exactly the same thing. I think Tony's sort of got a little bit used to the boys being faster now, but still a wily old fox and still can pump those good lap times out.
Oh, I can remember Laurie taking steering dampers off and going al natural. I remember that. Yeah, that opened my eyes. When you get in production superbikes and taking all the traction controls off them to try and get that little bit extra. It was good. Those were the days. Touched on them before. I think it was about 1997 to 2003. There was about a 6-year stint where we had the Tim Gibbs run Suzuki Winter Series, and that brought a lot of people into the sport as well. We touched on the Gixxer Cup doing the same thing, and yeah, fabulous. And also welcome to Brian Bernard. He's down in the pits, and I can remember back in those days what he used to do on a Hayabusa around the 40-second lap time. That was quite a handful of a bike to go around there. And yeah, some of the memories from that you'll never forget. And it's cool that we use most of that track here today.
Definitely. He used to have a ponytail too, I'd just like to remind everyone. Tried to get him up here into the pits, but like he said, he's a little bit too busy. Got some special people. He had some great success last year with Richie Dibbin. What a cool rider. Super motard expert. They tell me that he's insane too on a motocross bike. Maybe the fitness a little bit off, but Scotty Moyer still fast as well on motocross bikes. Mitch Reeves, he's average on motocross bikes.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Now we mentioned Mitchell Reeves, and not a lot of people know that. Taupo down the road, Digger McEwen Motocross Park, we've got the Hoka Honda MX Fest, was the scenes at the 2009 World Junior Motocross Championship, and Mitchell Reeves, one of the competitors representing New Zealand there. So that just shows you motocross has been a big part of road racing. They've all intertwined and interlocked, and a lot of these champions cut their teeth on the off-road. So a big welcome to everyone watching off-road, on-road. We're all the same family, and some great little battles emerging. We'll see Jake Lewis has now got ahead of Curtis Boyd, so he'll get faster and faster as the day goes on. So an update from the top, Nathan Jane teaming up with Jacob Stroud. Nathan on track at the moment, 1:46.6 that time around, so he has a 23-second advantage to Matt Bro, one of the two CD Vandermeer builders SV650s. Here's Jacob Vaughn ready to go as rider number 2 in that team, and Jared Horne teaming up with 2NZ Ben Rosedale, a former Pro Twin national champion. That's going to be a pretty good team. He's doing a good job there in 3rd place. We've got Jake Lewis, the first of the 300s in P4 at the moment, and look at that green lap time next to his name, so he's getting faster and faster. He's now ahead of Curtis Boyd, who's in 5th place. Vaughn Main out there in 6th. We've got Campbell Grayling 7th. James Thompson there in 8th place with Mickey Banks up into 9th. Dylan Telford, unfortunately the crash for Dylan, but comes back out and a 1:45.6. So I think they might have done a rider change there. I think it might be Dave Fellows has gone out on the machine. I'm not sure. We'll have to keep an update there. And we go back to Sam Housen and John Shiani. There it is with the 2-hour endurance race in 25 minutes 50 gone. We're coming into that half an hour window, so we might start to see some action down pit lane, so we'll keep you updated when we see that there. But Curtis Boyd going at the inside of Jake Lewis, and that'll feel pretty good to a former European junior champion to be dicing it with him. That'd be cool for Curtis Boyd, a young man doing some cool things in New Zealand road racing.
Looking down at the track there, turn 2 still has a little bit of a wet patch running across it. The camber of the track allows a little bit of a stream and it sort of holds it. Taupo has done a lot of extensions and maintenance and stuff to the track. The track's in some great conditions and it's not holding the water now, so at some of the other previous rounds, if it rained really hard, it would puddle up down into turn 2 and right down in between turn 1 and 2. But track looking pretty good conditions, and still is a lot of cloud coverage, and we've had some awkward weather conditions throughout the weekend. We had Friday with the team ride with Team Reeves, and yesterday we had a little bit of testing, everyone getting out there doing some laps, trying to find some setup, and great to have Leroy there from Team Reeves as well, came along, helps people out. If you're wanting your bike set up, scoot along to Leroy. Incredible person. He transformed the bike. I've been, of course, helping Taupo walk around this season, and he really helped us out today.
Oh, Leroy's a legend, yeah. He's got BSB knowledge. He's been all over the world, and yeah, second to none as far as suspension and setup is concerned. Pretty good accomplished rider as well. So yeah, fantastic to have him in New Zealand motorcycling as well. He's a handy man to have in the paddock. As we catch an update here, 27 minutes gone. It's still Nathan Jane, he's 1:46.1 that time around. Matt Bro's put the hammer down. He's now lapping in the 1:47. So keeping an eye on that one there. The gap back to him is 27 seconds. So we'll keep an eye on that one. SJ and Jacob, riders number 2 for those two teams. So pretty exciting to get them back in there. And we'll also have Ben Rosendahl on track. He's rider number 2 for the team in 3rd place. So yeah, this is going to be cool. And when you can get a rider come on who's just as good as the first rider, we're in for a pretty good 2 hour here, and not even a quarter of the way through at the moment. All right, we can give you an update. The pit lane is starting to get a bit frantic. We're half an hour into this one, so an hour and a half to go. Nathan Jane still leading this one by 28 seconds over Matt Bro. Matt's still out on track at the moment, and we see him through the flip-flop now, so he'll go for another lap. We've got Jared Horne, Ben Rosendale, Caleb Gilmour and Jake Lewis. We've got Curtis Boyd has come in, so Richard Boyd now out on track. Vaughn May and Tyler Brown. We've got Campbell Grayling and Sean Parker. That's the top 7 at the moment. And the other update is Dave Fellows, the other rider from the Dylan Telford and Dave Fellows team. There we go with them, team TR20. And Dave already into the 1:43.7. That's the fastest lap of the race by over 2.5 seconds. So I think he's on the more powerful super light machine. But it'd be pretty cool to see where he can end up, because he's about 10 seconds quicker than anyone around him on track. So could be some moving and shaking going on down in the bottom of the pack.
It's going to be an interesting little race, this one. Like you just touched on there as well, we've got a super light. So we've got, I think it's a GSXR 600 with a cylinder taken off. So they're doing super duper fast times. They're a little bit faster than the Pro Twins. But as the tyre goes off, they're not allowed to change the tyres. We're going to see what these Pro Twins can do, because the 300s, I don't think, on the same tyre, will be doing the same lap times. And we see Caleb Gilmour and Jake Lewis already into 4th position, 48s. As those tyres go off on the 650, it's going to be interesting. It'll be good to see if a 300 can actually scalp these guys.
Yeah, so we've got action aplenty in the pits. The man out in front, Jared Horne, he's taking the lead. That means Nathan Jane and Matt Bro have come into the pit lane. So we'll keep an eye on that one. It's a bit out of our vision here in the commentary box, but we'll keep an eye on that if we can. Nathan Jane and taken over at the helm is a former F3 Superlight champion and a former 300 Supersport champion, Jacob Stroud, who's been doing quite a bit of riding of late, so he'll certainly be handy. And the big news for the Yamaha MT-07, the Pro Twin, that they can ride in the 650 Pro Twin class. They've had a few rule changes and have been able to get a bit more competitive. So we could have that SV 650 under a bit of pressure from the MT-07 when we go 650 Pro Twin racing later on this summer. So interesting to see what sort of lap times we can get out of Jacob Stroud. But that's the team provisionally in the front, but they're in P2 at the moment as Jared Horne stayed out for a little bit deeper stint. We're 33 minutes into this one and starting to get pretty exciting.
Touched on there, Jacob Stroud, I just saw on Facebook and stuff this week being signed up for Yamaha on the older R6. He has been doing a lot of riding up at the Auckland Club Champs, Hamilton Motorcycle Club as well, doing like 5 or 6 classes. So the guy is fit and he is on fire at the moment. He just broke the 300 lap record up at Auckland, up at Hampton Downs last weekend.
All right, pretty keen to keep watching this one closely. 1:43.3 that time for Dave Fellows, getting quicker and quicker. And cool to have Dave Fellows, a neat competitor, and definitely not that of experience in New Zealand road racing, but in the short time he's been doing it, he has very much impressed us all. So Dave, he's pretty keen to put a good competitive 300 Supersport package and dice it out for a national title. So it'd be cool to see and track his progress through the summer. Part of the TR20 group with the Telford racing team, and cool to have Dave Fellows, the fastest man on track out there, with a 1:43.3. So up into 4th place, we've got a couple of guys there just still in circulation, trying to get back on the timing that when you come into the pits, it doesn't register you as a lap time, so you've got to do a long lap to come round. So we've got Nathan Jane, he's handed it over to Jacob Stroud, and Matt Bro's handed over to SJ Cavell, and now we've also got the team of Ben Rosendale and Jared Horne in there, so he's coming to the pits as well. So this is all exciting. And we'll keep you updated once we get them all shaken up out of the pit lane, and rider number 2 out there for this one. So 34, nearly 35 minutes to go. Gone in this one, and an hour 25 left. So pretty exciting stuff here. We've got Jacob Stroud, his first flying lap at 1:48.0. So yeah, pretty good pace straight away for Jacob. Of course, he's the son of 9-time Superbike champion Andrew Stroud, and yeah, that whole family there starting to really stamp its mark on New Zealand road racing.
Touched on there with Andrew Stroud being one of the 9 times New Zealand Superbike champions and one of the legends. Also wanted to just bring up your old man, absolutely incredible thing that he's been doing. All his races and stuff, we've gone through the trials and tribulations of racing, and to get to the racetrack is an incredible achievement, and huge congratulations to everyone that's turned up and been able to sort the finances out, the family out, everything that goes into racing to actually be here. So congratulations being on the start line and making to it. And your father there, like I had to go up last weekend, brand new job, new shoulder, sort all that out, go commentate at Auckland. I get home, I feel like a 90-year-old, but your dad's been doing it for millions and millions of years. I don't know how he continues to do it, and what an incredible job. So huge, big thank you and a shout out to Neil Ritchie, who's out at the motocross, Digger McEwen Park, and still doing it.
Yeah, so he's had 5 events on this weekend as part of the MX Fest down there. The Friday started awesome, the Battle of the Clubs, and then into a thing called the Bell Dirt Sprints, which is sort of modelled off the straight rhythm thing America do. It's sort of like a barrel race, drop the clutch, around the barrel and back again. That was pretty cool to watch. So that was the second event. Then the Junior Day yesterday, which was pretty cool, pretty full on. And then today he's there, and as well, last night, the newest concept of New Zealand motocross riding, SX4. It's back here on January the 9th at Digger McEwen Motocross Park at the Alpine Stars Arena there. So the 9th of January, when Taupo's busting, it's going to be really, really cool to get in behind that one and check it out at sx4.co.nz for more information. That's just part of the festival that is Labour Weekend in Taupo. And look at the sun come out now, Jared. This is pretty promising stuff. Definitely a dry line out there. So interesting to see what sort of lap times we can start getting on and get a bit of track temperature up. Nathan, Jane, Jacob Stroud, that's the team. Jacob out on track at the moment. He lapped in a 1:46.7, so yep, creeping that lap time down and down. Yes, Jacob Vaughn now out on track and already in the 1:45, so 1:45.6. So that's Nathan Jane sort of pace when he was out there. So good stuff from SJ. Keep an eye on that one there. And then Dave Fellows now up into P3. That's pretty good stuff from him. He's now lapping in the 1:44, so pretty competitive stuff. Ben Rosendale, former Pro Twin champion, 2NZ from last year. He's in the 1:46s. All pretty competitive times there for our top 4. We've got Caleb Gilmour now out there on the 300, and I'll be pretty keen to see. That'll be pretty cool bragging rights if you can get a faster lap time than Jake Lewis and the team. But these guys there, I think they're sharing the bike, so they might get a bit of a handicap penalty, but they have to refuel the bike. But the R3, I think you should go at least 2 stints. You should go at least the 1 hour on a full tank of gas. So it might just have to be 1 refuel when they come in. But yeah, so you're using twice as much tyre. You're using, the bike's going to be hot, and a little bit of a disadvantage sharing the bike. But those guys certainly competitive campaigners. There we go with Dave Fellows in the 1:43.1. It's the fastest lap of the race, and he's got it down to only 4.2 seconds behind SJ. So yeah, keeping an eye on that one there. There it is there, SJ through the S's, and Dave into turn 2 there. So yeah, there's not much in that one there. A few more lap times like that. He's 2 seconds quicker per lap. Yeah, he'll be able to eke that up and be very competitive to come to the business end of this race here with 39 minutes gone and an hour 21 to go. So pretty exciting stuff. And 39 minutes gone already, Jared. It doesn't seem like that long ago we had the shotgun start.
Exactly, love that shotgun start. No one would unfortunately let me shoot the shotgun. But they were telling everyone there's 2 barrels in the thing, so no jump starts this weekend. And good to see some of the younger guys can actually run. It'll be interesting to see if any of the old boys, like Tony Reeves, running across to the bike with his limps, and all of the other old boys that have maybe lost the speed that they formerly had getting over to their bikes. But interesting thing about this race is it's endurance racing. It's we saw the start, we saw Nathan Jane get out there, and it looked like it was going along nice, and that's what we get with sprint racing. But you've got to remember, this is 650s, which are a little bit harder on the tyres than the 300s. Their fuel consumption, and there's another rider as well, and that's the big thing. This is the second stint. We've got number 2 rider on. There will be 4 stints if they're doing the 30-minute changeovers, and it's going to be interesting. What a change around. In the first stint, we had Nathan Jane that was setting the pace, but the new boys, Jacob Stroud, jumped on straight into the 46 flat, so not much between them. SJ's rider there, which has got Matt Brow in there. He's straight into the 45s as well on the pace. Dave Fellows, like you touched on, 43. He's the one on the move, and it's going to be interesting to see. Also as well, battles inside battles. We want to see Caleb Gilmour against Jake Lewis. They are riding together, but it'd be nice to see what sort of lap times.
Yeah, see, that 1:49, that's the fastest lap Caleb's done so far, but a 1:48.1, so he's got to try and find a second and a half. We'll see what happens there. Jake Lewis, pretty handy teammate to have for Caleb Gilmour. They are the first 300 across the line. We've got Vaughn, Main and Tyler around. They're on a 650 twin entry. Tyler out on track at the moment, so P6 for them. And then we go to Richard and Curtis Boyd. Richard out on track at the moment. It's a father-son duo in P7. The second about 300's got Campbell Grayling and Sean Parker. Pretty handy team as well. Sean out on track at the moment. That's P8, but third 300 home. We've got Henry out there as part of the Henry and James team in ninth. And Doyle now out there on the 29 machine, so that's another S50, 650 XV twin with Sam Houston as well. And then we've got Clive Banks out there, and he's a 159. He wants to get the bragging rights, the father and daughter combo, Mickey Banks and Clive Banks. Great to have them out there in 11th place. John Gianni and Lewis Shaw rounding out the top 12. The privilege and honour to be joined by we touched on it before, me and Jared, a motorcycling legend, a world junior motocross representative for the country in 2009. We touched on that down at Digger McEwen Park down the road. Now he's found himself in about, I think, his 5th season road racing, and former 2NZ. You've had wins everywhere now, and the outright lap record holder around the cemetery circuit. The list goes on. Mitchell Reeves, thanks for putting the weekend on. Ride with Reeves, learn with Reeves, and how's everything looking?
Yeah, no, it's fantastic, Brad. It's great to get here, and for us, we've had 3 days here now. Had the training day, ride with Reeves on Friday, and fantastic. Actually, we had almost too many, but it was about the perfect amount of people for the training day, so that was fantastic. Raising funds for us and obviously for Damo as well. And then yesterday the track day, yeah, it's been fantastic.
Yeah, so for those at home, I've had a bit of an update, but what is the update on Damo's shoulder, and how's young Damo trucking?
Yeah, he's pretty much just in recovery mode at the moment. Shoulder's not too bad. Hasn't had to get surgery on it as of yet. They can keep up for a little while, but at this stage, it's not, it's bad, but it's not bad enough to do the surgery. So he's still, able and fit and can go, and do his job, which is fantastic.
Okay, good one. So you've obviously recorded the times from last year. You've got a time in your head. The track conditions not as good as we had last year, but you'll still be well and truly keeping him in the loop and showing him how good you are now compared to he was last year.
Yeah, for sure. Yesterday I actually went faster than he did in quali like here last year, so for me coming into this season, I'm a lot fitter and stronger. Still not, I'm probably only 80% for my leg, so there's still a lot of work to do. But yeah, for me, I'm on another level this year. I feel like I am anyway, so sort of matched him, if not was faster than another day for this quali time, so that was pretty good. And then for the race today is a little bit of a tough one, some of the fast boys like Al Hergy, Jake Lewis, obviously turned up here to ride the 300 but doesn't have a super bike, unfortunately. Scotty, Sloan, Dan, a bunch of the fast boys aren't here, so yeah, today it's really just about learning, doing a bit of laps, and just getting comfortable leading into the season.
And what I liked about it yesterday when I saw you come in from a session is the helmet come off, a massive smile on your dial, and it's probably quite important to come to an event like this and just remember why you started, racing, you started motorcycling, just to have fun and the family spirit and that, and it's pretty good to come to a low-key event like this and just get some fun in you.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously we collaborate on this with Bruce Mclaren Motorsport Park, and that's fantastic. The stuff we can do with them, the stuff they do for us is, they're just fantastic, especially for motorbike riders. You can come here, you feel like you're welcome. Anyone at the track's easy to go and talk to. It's a great atmosphere.
Yeah, I think this has got to be some sort of event record for the amount of people doing their first ever event at one time. It's so cool, and we can bring it all together. And we're 45 minutes gone in the 2-hour endurance race. Jacob Stroud still leading this one by 17 seconds. Each Jacob L still narrowly hanging on to second place with Dave Fellows in third. So that one there is really tightened up. So there's only a couple of seconds separating the top three at the moment, so keen to keep an eye on that one. We've got Jared Horne and Ben Rosendale. That's the team there in 4th place. Ben out on track and 1:45.1. So awesome stuff, Ben Rosendale. Straight on the pace out there at the moment. We've got the first of the 300s, Caleb Gilmour and Jake Lewis. Caleb on track at the moment. We've got Vaughn, May, Tyler Brown, and then we go to Richard and Curtis Boyd. It's the second of the 300s ahead of Sean Parker out on track, teamed up with Campbell Grayling. So 2-hour endurance. This is pretty exciting. And we've already gone 45 minutes. It feels like only a few minutes ago we started this one, Mitch.
Yeah, I know, standing down there holding bikes, waiting for them to go. So, yeah, it's surprising how quickly these sort of times click over. And, yeah, no, it's awesome racing. Good to see the boys. Like obviously you can see there with the times, you know, SJ and Dave are hunting down Nathan and Jacob ever so slowly. But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see where it ends up at the end of the race, if they're going to be close on each other or what's going to happen there.
Yeah, that is going to be quite exciting. And also Mickey and Clive, there's some amazing bragging rights and dinner table chat up for grabs there. So they're in 11th at the moment, but some pretty good lap times. Has Mickey got a lap time in her head that she's aiming for, or is it just see how it goes?
Yeah, it's I guess, you know, you always want to go faster. I think when we were here the other day, she was like at 56, minute 56. So obviously she wants to go faster than that today. And she's actually got I made her a promise that if she did a minute 49 on the normal national track around here, I'd buy her some suspension for her 300. So she's definitely working her way towards that. So I think once she gets back onto that track, she'll be, you know, on that sort of pace, if not, you know, sort of beating it. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
That is super cool. Just one of the many facets at Bruce Mclaren Motorsport Park, and Mitch touched on how good Bruce Mclaren Motorsport Park are. Second to none as far as looking after motorcycle riders is concerned, and it's really cool to see a weekend like this where it's a bit of Bruce McLaren, it's a bit of you guys, it's a bit of the CCMR, and yeah, it's so cool to see it all come together. And like I said, there's nothing else in the North Island that's as motorbike friendly as this place.
Oh, for sure. Like, just Taupo in general is fantastic. You know, like today we got MX Fest Motocross on with the senior boys racing, battling that out today. So hopefully our boy Cody Cooper and James Scott take the win on that one. But then last night, you know, you had the Speedcross event which you were commentating at, and it was awesome being down there, catching up with a few of my old buddies, going talking some smack, and yeah, so that, you know, it's just a fantastic weekend for motorbikes. So yeah.
Did you manage to entice any of those guys to have a go on the road there, Mitch? Are you still working on that one?
Oh, obviously we had BG come and done a season on a super bike, and he did. First season he did fantastic in my eyes.
I think there's bits of GSXR 1000 fairings on every track of the country and in the grass still. I think to this day it was so cool to see BG out there. And yeah, he's the kind of competitor, multiple New Zealand junior champion. He's won the cross country and enduro champions back to back, and yeah, had accomplished motocross rider and come road racing. Didn't muck around with track days, just went straight on the 1000, and yeah, no, that was pretty cool as well. So yeah, no, I reckon there's room to work on some of those motocross boys and get them down here.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, hey, some of those top guys I can understand completely. You know, they're focused on that, and you know, when you're at the top of your game doing a sport, you don't generally sort of fade away and go do something else. Like for myself, I obviously had a few injuries towards the end of my sort of dirt bike riding stuff, and then, you know, I wasn't interested in road racing as such, but Damo and Tony go, oh, come do the 6-hour enduro with us. That's just a bit of fun, you know. Here's me, you know, jumping on a super bike of all things. Don't know what I'm doing. Don't get taught to ride properly. So, and then straight in the deep end, hey, we did pretty good with that. I think we were second, third, first year. And then the following year, I think we ended up winning it, which was pretty cool. You know, to do it with Dad and Damo, you know, just, you know, a real family moment. And then, yeah, sort of from there, I mechanicked for Damo for a season, and yeah, just ended up buying one of our spare super bikes off Dad. He said that's the, you know, you got to buy your first bike, and you got to, you know, just like a dirt bike, you got to buy it and then get into it from there. And he says if you still want to do it and you got fast enough, then you know, we'll see where we can go from there. And then very fortunate second season, Honda actually, you know, ended up giving us three new Fireblades, and yeah, the rest is history sort of. So obviously, you know, did pretty well that second season. Sort of up my game. I did 2 races on a Supersport 600 in Australia. Had J-Love here come and give me a hand. And yeah, I think I ended up 6th or 7th overall at Phillip Island, which was a pretty awesome experience. You know, the level I went from to, just with the expertise in riding with those different riders, and coming back home, and straight away I think Suzuki Series here I ended up second, which for me, I was sort of out of my depth to a certain point, sort of leading races here, and then finishing third in the first race behind Dad, it was just a massive jump for me, and then it was like, okay, this is me, I'm here now, like I've arrived, and then from there sort of built, and then I was in it for the championship that year. I unfortunately had a crash at Hamptons, which sort of put me out of touch with the points, but still ended up second here, not too far behind Sloan, and sort of last season obviously busted my leg up pretty bad, so coming back from that still, and this year I'm feeling fitter and stronger, so certainly do. Got a new fireblade from Honda coming, actually got two coming, so looking forward to get on that thing, seeing what we can do.
Yeah, that is pretty phenomenal when you lay it out like that. It hasn't been long at all. We've just got an update there. We've got one down. I'm not sure where that is. We're just going to try and keep an update of that, so we'll keep an eye on that. It's into the new race course section. Looks like he's run a bit wide coming out of turn 7, and good to see him self-recovering. So that's the call of the day. We're at Riders Briefing. Self-recover if you can. Just keeps us moving and trucking along. We don't want to have to safety car any of this, but obviously rider safety is paramount. And I think when you talked about a few of those highlights, Mitchell, absolutely brilliant to hear some of that, and definitely one of the highlights for me in my following road racing career was watching you around at Phillip Island. That was pretty cool on the Superbike round there as part of the World Superbike campaign, and to be at the back there in the tent, absolutely cool. So those sort of things, when you weigh it up, you haven't been doing it long, but so cool to see where you have come from.
Yeah, the opportunities I've had with Honda New Zealand, even support from Honda Australia and the Penrite Honda racing team over there. The things I've been able to do already with road racing has been fantastic. And obviously you can see where Damo's gone to from Australia, and now he's racing in the British Superbike Championship. So obviously for him now obviously he's opened up the horizons for us boys here. And that was an awesome weekend you were there. I think I ended up qualifying in the top 10 or something, which was pretty cool. It was a little bit of a sketchy race, meaning I think we had some rain on and off, and there's a bit of stuff going on, but like you say, those experiences are awesome.
Absolutely brilliant. So we're 52, nearly 53 minutes into this one. So come up to the halfway stage, and Jacob Stroud's just lifted the pace in the last couple of laps. He's a 1:45.65 last time around, and now has a 15-second advantage over SJ Cavell in second place. So matching each other for pace. They were SJ was a 1:45 last time around, and I think it looked like SJ might have just ducked into the pits. We'll keep an eye on this with Ben Rosendale 1:45.9. So the top three almost identical lap times at the moment, and we'll see those guys all on SV 650s, but Jacob Stroud, he's on the MT-07, the Yamaha, and it's cool to see the MT-07, a competitive package potentially for this year's summer at NZSBK. We've got the dates now confirmed for that. We go to the 2 rounds in the South Island. We start at Ruapuna on the 9th, on the 8th and 9th of, I think it's the 9th and 10th of January, and the week later we go to Levels Raceway in Timaru. We have a month off, and then in March we go to Hampton Downs for Moto Fest on the 6th and 7th, and then the week later we're here at Bruce Mclaren Motorsport Park for the finale, and a 4-round NZSBK season. And we had to call ours off early after 3 rounds last year, so it's going to be pretty exciting, and I can't wait till we go Superbike racing this summer.
Good to be back in here. We get rid of that one. We've got the better looking one back on the microphone there. The Love Machine is back up here. And just getting a little bit of technical information there. We've had a fueling issue there, and one of the bikes to look out for, I think it's there might be a red little thing next to it, is they're going to be getting a time penalty for incorrect fueling. So that's one of the things that you need to look at is the sub-regs. And everyone down in the pits, make sure that you do have your correct refueling clothing on. Apparently someone there in the pits refueling a bike with shorts on, that is illegal. There is a thing in the sub-regs as well, and there will be a time penalty put onto that bike.
Well, there you go. So just some of the drama, some of the things that you can't quite see on the screen at home watching on Ctas Live. Thank you to Grant and the team. Some great pictures coming through. And also here on track, just one of the many facets of endurance racing. We've got it all on for young and old, but Jacob Stroud is sneaking off into the distance. Got a 15-second advantage over SJ Cavell with Ben Rosendale there in third place. We'll have a look at this one and see where we end up. But coming up to that 1 hour mark, nearly halfway through this one, and looking for the pit lane to start opening up and getting a bit frantic again. Could be quite exciting here, Jared.
Definitely, we've got great weather conditions here. We've still got that hill, which is a standard sort of thing for Taupo, Bruce Mclaren Motorsport Park here. When the rain or the cloud cover comes along, it seems to suck that cloud cover into the hill and sort of hangs around, but we've been very fortunate here today. We've had no rain. We had it in the first thing in the morning. Track is cleared off and we've got perfect conditions. We are a little bit away, an hour away from an hour and a little bit. We've got a lunch break after this one, but then we'll be into the big boys and we're all looking forward to that one. It's going to be quite a good dust up. Just we're talking then to Mitch Reeves, the worst looking and slightly slower than Damon Reeves' older brother, and not quite as fast as me on a motocross bike also, Mitch Reeves, and he was touching on his success that he's had, and also we need to do a big shout out for Damo as well, the coolest one of the Reeves family there over in BSB. What an incredible season. He's opened my mind and inspired me as well. Just what his success this year has just it's incredible. He has, like Mitch touched on as well, he's created a pathway, and people believe now. We all do believe. We all wanted him to succeed, but he went over there, and the incredible riding that he's done over there and that success, battling with Moto3 world champions and the guys that we watch on TV. It is, if you work hard enough and put the time and effort in like he does, and you can persevere the pain and the financial restrictions that man goes through, you can be exactly like him. And great thing here, Reeves is also helping out at the starting entry level as well. So there is a cool pathway in New Zealand at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we touched on Mitch and we talked about how good he was at motocross, but Damon was just as good. He was a phenomenal motocross rider when they were juniors, and yeah, to see them to come road racing, and Damo just really had the bit between his teeth. He really wanted to be a road racer and went really well in Aussie on the 600 a couple of seasons over there, and then went to Superbike, and yeah, just how far he's come in a short amount of time. To go to the BSB and just turn up to those tracks for the first time and be on the pace, that is underrated. No one can really give him enough credit for that. Phenomenal stuff.
Definitely. I have been down to the Reeves also for a couple of little fun weekends as well, and have been given quite a beating by Mitch. So he gave me such a hiding on a motocross bike. I had to go play in the flat paddock with me, and she was quite a battle as well. So you touched on the other boys out at the motocross track and are still doing it. I get arm pump as soon as I sniff grass. Even on the scooter the other night, going out to the SX4, a little bit of arm pump when I start puffing that hard. So great that Mitch and the other boys still can jump on, and they're still world class on motocross bikes, which is a cool thing.
Oh, you're world class as well, Jared. Don't get yourself wrong there. Former Expert 125 champion. How long ago was that? That would have been in the 90s almost,
Can't
wouldn't it?
say that, man. I keep popping it out, and then all the kids keep saying, yeah, nah, dude, 94. I wasn't even born till 2000, so yeah.
94, yeah.
If I'm a senior at 94, then yeah, I might be a little bit over 28 that I'm telling people.
Well, I think you've had your 21st a couple of times that I've been to. Was that just what you tell everyone, was it? Yeah.
Definitely.
No, good stuff. Right, we can update you on the lunch break as well. We've got the Hot Laps Challenge and pretty exciting stuff. We've got Mitch Reeves, Zach Fuller, S.J. Cavell and Matt Bro are going to have a hot lap out there as well. So Hot Lap Challenge in the lunch break. We're going to have the conclusion of this one, a bit of a break before we get underway with the big one, and some Hot Lap Challenges. So we'll keep you updated on how they all pan out. But with 1 hour gone, 1 hour to go, we're at the halfway stage, and we've got Jacob Stroud still lapping in those 145, so brilliant stuff from him. We've got S.J. Cavell out in second place, Ben Rosendale in third, and the first of our 300s, that is with Caleb Gilmour teaming up with Jake Lewis. So let's keep an eye on this one here, Jared.
Just one of the... Watching the Ctas there, someone had a little bit of an incident, overshooting, trying to scoot down into the pits, lost a little bit of time, had to back it back. And yeah, as we see scooting down to the pits, there is some bike changes going on to the person that did start it. So 2 races inside the race.
Okay, we can update that S.J. Cavell has come in. Matt Bro is changed over, so we've got Matt Bro going out on the CD Vandermeer Builders team, the number 39 machine, an accomplished rider in Supermoto as well. So cool to have Matt Bro out there and S.J. Cavell. They won this event last year, the 2 hour. and they're under a bit of pressure at the moment from Jacob Stroud and Nathan Jane. So Nathan there on pit lane, he's getting ready to go. So as soon as we see Jake come in, that'll be Nathan Jane out there. And really, I didn't get the best of the Le Mans starts, but just put the hammer down, got from 4th into 3rd, and then got into the lead and eked out a bit of an advantage. And now Jacob Stroud doing a great job nursing that lead at the moment. We'll keep an eye on all of this, and the timing screen goes a bit haywire while some people come into the pits, some people stay out later, but we can tell you we're at the halfway stage of this one, and it is still the pairing of Nathan Jane and Jacob Stroud well in charge of this one, but into the second hour, and these guys will be starting to feel a little bit exhausted. The track temperature's probably coming up, so maybe thinking they can get a bit of a good lap time out there, a bit of a run on, but this will be the final stint for these guys, a 2 hour. And they've got to do 55% as a maximum of the time on the track, and got to make 3 stops. So this will be the last stint for these guys, and these guys started the race. It'll be exciting to see where we can all end up.
Interesting thing about the endurance one is 1 transponder, 2 bikes. So they'll be coming in. It's not like the old stuff we used to come in, we'd refuel. We had mean-as fuel dumpers and stuff like that, and men in fireproof suits. We don't have that now. We push the bikes out the back. We have the protective clothing on, which everyone in the pits needs to be aware of. Make sure that you don't have shorts on, you have your protective clothing on, otherwise you will be given the time penalty. They'll push the bikes out, they then get to put the tyre warmers back on, check their tyre pressures. So it'll be interesting to see if they make any little tweaks and can get a little bit more lap time out of it, or if the tyre degradation is going to be a factor into this. Also, we will see the one rider doing 1 lap time. It is a little bit of a competition as well. We've seen Jake Lewis. You don't want to get beaten by the other guy, especially if it's your bike, if he jumps on the thing. So not wanting to throw it down the road, but not wanting to get beaten. So it's a balancing act, which is the cool thing about endurance racing.
Yeah, I mean, that's the old saying, isn't it, really? The first person you beat on the race day is your teammate. So that's been the saying for about 40-odd years. But another saying as well we can use in some of these races is to not be beaten by your father as well. So Mitch has got to contend with that one. Also, Mihi and Curtis out there. So great to have the family aspect of endurance racing. And with 57 minutes to go, I've got Nathan Jane out on track. We'll see where it all... when the dust settles and our timing screen refreshes back onto the lead lap, it's Jared Horne, Ben Rosendale. So Ben stayed out a little bit later in the stint to see what sort of advantage they can get. But yeah, these 650 twin boys, pretty handy lap times and quite evenly matched. So could see some fireworks coming later in this one.
Big shout out there to Sam Hassan. Incredible day yesterday. Taupo was actually dragging him around doing a little bit of coaching. So on these practice days, they had the coaching day with Team Reeves on the Friday, but then other people have paired up as well. So Taupo was taking this young man out there, and fortunately got to spend a little bit of time. Leroy came along, set his bike up, watching on the side of the track, gave him some other pointers, and it's incredible to see when you give someone something to do and have to do some little pointers and they exceed your expectations. I couldn't be more proud of them. So thank you very much. We went away to see the smile on his face and the fun that he was having yesterday. That really floats my boat, and that's one of the huge things that I love about the sport that we do. We're just getting our lap times back up on the screen. We've got multiple screens here. What a great... Oh, we seem to have one bike down there, but it's picked it up. We have some great facilities here at Bruce Mclaren and Motorsport Park. We've very lucky to have Ctas live along here, so we've got a screen and we can watch it on screen. Also, we've got MXT timing. Huge thank you to them and to Team Reeves as well. All those guys combined, what an incredible event that we've got here down at Taupo. We've got fine conditions at the moment. We've got a lunch break coming up after this. We've got 54 minutes to go in this race. Position 1 is Jared Horne. I touched on him up at the Auckland Motorcycle Club Champs. Incredible ride there. He's first in position, but we've got Nathan Jane out there as well. Already comes back out and has just done his fastest one there at a 44.9. He was consistently in the 45, so he's on the move. I see a foot go out, so maybe that's meaning that either Ben Rosendale or Jared Horne is going to be coming in. I think Rosendale out there at the moment. Yep, he's just signalling to his pits, so old school styles. He's got a little 300 on the back of him with Jake Lewis scooting around the outside. Incredible ride there for Jake. Fly him up from the South Island. EJC European Junior Champion. Incredible achievement that he did. Jumps onto someone's little 300. Hasn't been riding out. He's been out on an R1. Turns up here, doesn't do too much riding here in the North Island, and just showing his class. So in P1 we've got Ben Rosendale out there looking for his pit stop. Nathan Jane at the moment in second position, but just dropping a 44.9, super duper fast. The fastest of the other ones are 45. So I know someone else has done a 46, SJ or Matt Rowe. And Dylan Telford there in fourth position. We've got Gilmour and Lewis. We've got Lewis on the bike at the moment in fifth. Main there sixth. Boyd, Grayling in eighth. And yeah, back to you there. Start, Brad.
Oh, don't do that to me. Oh man,
no,
I can play that game with you as well. Yeah.
Already touched on too that Damo was the cooler one out of the Reeves family, and hopefully he's listening there on Ctas Live, and we've already had the interview, so Mitch can't come up here and give me a little twack around. He's got a race coming up.
Yeah, no, he'll have to get it switched on because we are only 52 minutes away from the end of this one, and we are starting to get really excited. Nathan Jane, man, he impresses me every time I see him ride a motorcycle. He's so cool to watch. He's got the best style in the paddock, and a very accomplished 600 Supersport rider. Now he finds himself in Pro Twin racing, where he did the three-peat. We touched on it earlier this morning. The GP, the TT, and the national title. There's not many people that can say they did that, and he's out there at the moment on the bright orange machine, the number 97. And lapping into the 1:45s. That's pretty impressive stuff from him. We've got Ben Rosendale still on track. We'll see what's happening there, but a bit of cat and mouse. Maybe take the stint a bit longer and maybe give him a bit of a short burst at the end of the race. We'll see what happens there. All they've got to do is do a minimum of 45% or a maximum of 55, or however you want to say it. But it's pretty even stuff here in this two teammate race. 51 minutes to go. Let's have a bit of an update at the moment. Ben Rosendale, your man in the front, but still yet to make that second pit stop. Nathan Jane, Jacob Stroud. Nathan out on track now, and the fastest man on track with a 1:45 for that last time. We've got SJ Cavell and Matt Rowe. We've got Matt now out on track. He started the race. SJ did a pretty good job, come out and put some heating laps in, but has been unable to really catch the team in front. There we go with Nathan Jane, 1:46.9, but I think just a bit of lap traffic. You'll see that start to affect lap times as well. You can't read too much into the lap times, as one lapper can cost you 3 to 4 seconds if you catch them in the wrong part of the track. And then you go back to Ben Rosendale, second place, who now will be in the pits. So Jared Horne, who I reckon, Jared, one of the surprise packages of the weekend, did a really good job starting this race.
Yeah, definitely. One of the other things I was just having a real good squiz on there was Campbell Grayling just got past with Nathan Jane scoot out, so he's on the Pro Twin against the 300. The speed difference, Nathan's just popped straight back out, and then he obviously won't have a new tyre on, but a little bit of a rest, straight back into the 45s, and he scooted past Campbell Grayling. Campbell Grayling, very accomplished New Zealand rider there, riding with Sean Parker. He's doing lap times of 51 there. But incredible, Caleb Gilmour and Jake Lewis, 48. So big time difference there, 51 to a 48. Huge difference. The rest of the boys sort of sitting in there. It's pretty relative. Nathan, of course, he's doing 46s. The other two are fluctuating at 48s. They can drop down to the 46s, but Nathan consistently knocking those ones out, and Jacob backing it up as well. That's what we do need to remember, is there is two riders inside this one, so it's a combo of the two riders. But the big thing that we need to watch out for, maybe not so much in this one, is I heard it at Riders Briefing, we have a safety car.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that is going to be drama-filled because we see at the moment Nathan Jane's got a 25-second advantage, but that'll count for nothing if we do get a safety car. We can bunch them all up. There is Nathan Jane, just ever impressive. Last time around a 1:45.9, so you can set your clock to this man here. He's so accurate, brilliant to watch. So there's Campbell Grayling. So he's about P3 in the 300 Supersport class out there, P8 overall. But yeah, touched on before, part of the Biggles racing team. They went 3 and 5, I believe, in 300 Supersport racing. It was awesome to watch them. Always very well presented and a great team to have in the paddock. But Campbell Grayling, what a great rider. He does a lot of bucket racing as well, and yeah, he's plied his trade. Former 125 GP racer as well. He's had podiums in that, and now finds himself in production racing with the 300 Supersport. So definitely a young man doing cool things in New Zealand road racing. As we touch on our leaders at the moment, it is Nathan Jane out there at the moment, teamed up with Jacob Stroud. Now ekes out that to a 28-second advantage. Matt Bro in second place, but coming in hot third place, Dave Fellows now on that, I believe it's an R6, I'm not 100% sure on that, but it's set a cylinder remove. It's an F3 bike, the 450 3-cylinder machine, and he's there. So lapping in the 1:43s last time around, so fastest man on track in third. He's got 11 seconds back to Matt, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do and get himself into this fight. But that's your podium at the moment. Then go back to Jared Horne now out on track with Ben Rosendale, his teammate. There they go. So it's 1:48 for Jared right now, and finds himself a minute 25 off our race pace at the moment. So all on at the moment, Caleb Gilmour and Jake Lewis. Jake Lewis back out on track with Vaughn Maynard, Tyler Brown. That's P6. We've got Curtis and Richard Boyd. I believe that's Curtis back out there now on that number 26 machine, the Red Bull Racing R3. We've got Campbell Grayling and Sean Parker. That's P8. James Thompson and Henry Goff. Cool pairing there to see them out there, P9. Mickey Banks and Clive Banks, the father-daughter combo. That's his P10 for them. And the all-important bragging rights. So a 1:56.1, but I'm not sure if that's Clive or Mihi's time, so we're a bit blind up here in the commentary box. I'm not sure who's posted that lap, but Mihi out on track at the moment. Sam Hassan and Doyle Matosha, cool pairing there, P11 for them, and then go back to John Chiani and Lewis Shaw. So that's our top 12 as we see them, with 47 minutes to go, starting to get into that vital stage of this race to get that final rider home and hosed in 47 minutes. This race is pretty much flowing by with Nathan Jane, the man to beat at the moment.
Just looking down there on the pit board too, is that's a big thing for endurance racing, and it takes experience, and planning is the other thing as well, knowing what scenario. If it rains, are you going to change over? And you see Vicky Reeves there down on the pit wall. She's got the board. She's controlling things. Zach's down there as well, cheering on his little team as well. So great to see Tony and Vicky along here, Zach here as well, and everyone helping each other out. And that's a big shout out to everyone in the team making this, everyone helping the riders get out there. That's the beauty of endurance racing. It's not just the rider, it's part of the team. So make sure, keep eating and drinking and keep yourself healthy, and get that rider out there.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't give enough credit to the full team. It is a full team sport, this, and it always has been. So, yeah, you've got two riders out on track, but there's many more behind the scenes, and a very important factor, especially those sharing bikes, having to refuel or having to change things up. Different riders, there might be different sizes and need a few things tweaked. So, full credit to the full team packages here at Bruce Mclaren Motorsport Park for our 2-hour endurance race. Welcome to everyone tuning in on Ctas Live, and fabulous to have Grant and the team doing this one here. It's our third inception of this event, and cool to have Ctas along to show us these fantastic pictures. And the sun's out now. It's a pretty nice day. There's a lot of cloud cover around, but hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get some fine weather for the rest of the day, because we've got 45 minutes to go in this one, the 2-hour, and then we've got the lunch break and the hot laps challenge. Then we get going at approximately 1 to 1:30 p.m. We'll be going racing with the awesome big senior 3-hour endurance race, and we've got 10 entries into that one, with qualifying results are out, and we've got Mitch and Tony Reeves. They won this event 2 years ago, So they'll be looking to try and do that. Mitch won it again with Damo last year, so looking to do the three-peat. Tarvin Walker and Dave Sharp, that's a cool team there. They line up P2 on the grid. We've got Jacob Stroud and I believe Chris Dyson is his teammate. There in third on the grid, we've got Luca Durning and Richie Dibbin, the Team Barrack Sports Bar entry from Wanganui. So good to see that team come up here and do some laps around Bruce McLaren. We've got Malcolm Bielski and Terry Moran. They actually were on the podium of this event last year, so cool to have them there. Zach Fuller and Hamish Fox. Cool to have Hamish here. Hamish only got that bike going on about Friday, I believe, so pretty cool. And it's only about a second or third ride on a 600 teamed up with Zach Fuller. They'll be a handy pairing as well, and cool to see how they go. Curtis Boyd and Adam Durning on the R6. That's a cool pairing there as well. We go to Jason Lamb as well with John Sawful and a few others in there. So 10 entries in the 3-hour senior later on in the afternoon. That's after the lunch break, but we can update this one at the moment. 44 minutes to go, and it's still Nathan Jane in command of this one. He's into turn number 4 at the moment, and silky smooth through there, and good lapper management as well. That's quite vital in an endurance race as well, to be focused enough and know when to dive and when to hold off. Lapper management, quite important, especially when you've got twins out there, you've got 300s, there's a couple of different spec bikes, so knowing where to get the lappers under control is a vital part, and Nathan Jane doing a wonderful job of that at the moment. 1:44.9 last time around, so that's the fastest lap that team's done so far, and ever impressive Nathan Jane. He is the 650 Pro Twins champion, showing us exactly why he's got a 35-second advantage back to Matt Bro in second place, but right in behind him we've got Dave Fellows on that Superlight machine heading around turn 5 at the moment. So that one there, all on for young and old, but Dave Fellows along with Dylan Telford, they're a little bit out of sequence. Unfortunately, Dylan had a bit of an off in the flip-flop, and then Dave had to go out a bit early. So the team is a bit out of sequence as far as their pit stops, but could be exciting to see where we end up. There's only 1.6 seconds in that battle, and now we're looking at on track. They head to the race course section, and there's nothing in it at the moment. It's less than a second now as we fire right and left into the club circuit, and then fire around what would normally be turn number 9 here at Bruce McLaren on the run down to the iconic turn 11, the A1 GP corner. And there we go. So the inside we see Dave go. So change of position for second place in the race with Dave Fellows going up the inside of Matt Bro. It's still a massive 42 minutes to go on this one, Jared. So early days, but I tell you what, it's definitely Nathan Jane and Jacob Stroud in command of this one.
Yeah, definitely looking like that. Nathan has the pace. Jacob backs it up as well. Quite a good combo. And looking at the qualifying and stuff for the big boys one as well, Tony and Mitch, like Mitch touched on as well, they are super class act, internationally classed and stuff. But the rest of it, it's going to be quite a good little dust up. We've got Walker there in second position, and Dave Sharp as well, and Jacob he's going to be on the base. Yeah, it's going to be a tight one. So Reeves, yeah, clearly faster. The interesting thing that I'd like to see is quite a few of the boys trying to do the shotgun start. I want to see Lammy, once the gun goes off, try and run across that road, mate.
I've always thought we should have a 100-metre dash for ex-New Zealand road races. I reckon we'd have to start it now for the summer NZSBK, I reckon.
Mitch just touched on as well. His unfortunately with sometimes you have a few injuries and stuff, and everyone's sort of coming back from it. So yeah. We don't. We're not sprinters, are we?
Absolutely. We should have a hot lap in the van and a 100-metre race, and that should be your qualifying time, I reckon. I reckon that would be a little bit of excitement for the paddock as we see with this one. It is 2 hours of endurance race for the junior and intermediate entries. Nathan Jane again faster that time, so a 1:44.39. Now he's just crossed the line at a 1:45.2, so still in the groove. He's got a decent advantage. Back to Dave Fellows and Dylan Telford, the team there. Dave on the Superlight machine, and Dylan on the Cool Aprilia. It's a single-cylinder 700 machine, but it is there's a few different parts of it. It's quite a cool bike. You have to go and have a look at it and have a listen to it. So cool. One of the many awesome bikes in the TR20 pit. They do some wonderful things. Bruce and Dylan, part of the TR20 make-up there. Accomplished riders. Now we touched on Dylan in Europe just before, but Bruce as well. He's he's had success over the New Zealand road racing scene as well, and part of the TR20 team. They're awesome to have in the paddock. We go back to third place, which is SJ Cavell and Matt Bro. Matt out on track at the moment. We've got SJ waiting, ready to go. So we saw SJ get on the pace straight away when he came out. So the gap at 4 seconds at the moment between Dave and Matt. So having a look at that one there. So all on here with 39 minutes to go. And we've got Jared Horne, Ben Rosendale. That's Jared Horne out on track at the moment with Benno looking to finish this race off. There's rider number 2. We've got the first of the 300 Supersport guys as well. That's Caleb Gilmour and Jake Lewis. All right, there we go with this one here. This is exciting. We've got the winner, the champion of the Gicsta 150 half-hour endurance race, Billy Fuller. Billy, welcome and congratulations. How did that feel?
Yeah, it was quite different and I really enjoyed it.
Very cool. So your mum and dad here, brother Zach, how cool is it to have the family here and go racing on the weekends?
Yeah, it's great support from all the family and it's just a great event to be at.
Good. So obviously winning your race, you put pressure on Zach. You got the front seat booked in if he can't win his race later on. Is that how it works?
Yeah, of course.
Good. No, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm very nice and neat and tidy around there. How's your riding progressing? You feel like you're getting really good?
Yeah, I felt really strong towards the end. Had a couple of moments, but saved it. But yeah, it was good racing.
Very cool. No, awesome, and well done for that one there. So the champion of the inaugural Gicsta 150 half-hour endurance race. So well done to Billy Fuller. And up here for some expert comments. You can have expert comments now because you're a race winner here on the weekend. Me and Jared haven't won much so far this weekend, so it's good to have you up here for some expert comments. And yeah, very cool to have Team Fuller Racing. Is that what you're calling yourself? Or now probably Billy Racing, and Zach's one of the teammates now, isn't he? One of the satellite riders.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Nah, cool. So what's the summer looking like for Billy Fuller? Are you back in the Gicsta 150 campaign for the Suzuki Series?
Yeah, I'm hoping to get back on the bike and see how I do in the Suzuki Series and maybe go down to the South Island. Oh,
that's so cool. Awesome stuff. And yeah, just touch on the 150 racing. We've got the Supersport 150 Championship going on again this year as part of NZSBK. So we've got the Yamaha R15 and hopefully I'm working on a few things to try and get the Gicsta's a little bit more competitive to try and have a cool Supersport 150 racing. As we catch up over this one, 37 minutes to go. We've got an hour and 22 gone. Nathan Jane, Jacob Stroud still well in control. We've got Dave Fellows now stretching out that advantage in second place to nearly 6.5 seconds. We've got the team, CD Vandermeer Builders team, of SJ Cavell, Matt Bro, Matt out on track at the moment. So coming up to 37 minutes to go. And it's going to be all on here. So, Billy, we touched on half an hour endurance race. So how long did that feel? Did it feel like an hour and a half, or was that not too bad?
Nah, it actually went pretty quick. I think it was like 15 minutes. Quite flaky.
Good. So we looked at your qualifying time at a 2:40, and by the time you went racing, you were 2:14. How far have you come just in this weekend alone with your riding?
Oh yeah, hugely, because I was just getting used to the bike because I haven't been on the bike in 7 months. So just getting used to the bike, and I've done pretty well, surprisingly.
Fantastic, and it must be a pretty cool feeling as well, having the other girls out there, some bit of girl power in New Zealand road racing.
Yeah, good battles with the girls, yeah. Need some more out there though.
Yeah, I reckon too. Fantastic stuff. So that is Billy Fuller, little sister to Zach Fuller, who's coming up in the 3-hour endurance race in a little bit of time. He's in the 600, so are you teasing him about being on the big 600?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, good. I like it. Good bit of sibling rivalry there, and all part of the fun family race atmosphere we've got here at Bruce Mclaren Motorsport Park on the Ride with Reeves weekend. And we are at the business end of the 2-hour endurance race with 35 minutes to go. Nathan Jane, he's into the flip-flop at the moment, a bit of lap traffic to contend with, but he is in command of this one, a 34-second advantage back to Dave Fellows. But like we touched on before, Dave, a little bit out of sync with the pit stops on the other guys. It'll be interesting to see how much Dylan gets on that single-cylinder machine to finish this race off. We've got SJ and Matt on track at the moment with SJ Cavell ready and waiting to finish this race off. So SJ, pretty impressive so far with his times and his performance in the weekend. We go back to Ben Rosendale and Jared Horne. So Jared, he started this race. He's out on track at the moment with Ben Rosendale former Pro Twin champion and 2NZ currently at the moment, so it'd be cool to see him give this one a good go till the end. He's 59 seconds off the pace, back in 4th at the moment. And then we go to the 300s, who are on another lap, different lap than the lead riders. It's Caleb Gilmour and Jake Lewis. Jake Lewis, the former 600 Supersport champion. He's won in every single class he's entered in. He's a class act, and he's out there. Caleb Gilmour's teammate on the BAS expansion joints R3 at the moment. So great to have Caleb and Jake as a team. They are leading the 300 Supersport aspect of this. We've got Vaughn, Main and Tyler Brown. That's 6th place for them. Vaughn got a great start actually in this one, but just had a few bike troubles and had to try and get back in the groove. So P6 for him. We've got Curtis and Richard Boyd, another one of the 300s. They're sharing the bike though, so a little bit disadvantaged, as is Jake and Caleb, so 5th and 7th for those guys. We've got Campbell Grayling and Sean Parker. So Campbell on the Big Wheels Racing machine, he's in 8th place, but that is the 3rd overall 300. And then we also go back to Mihi and Clive Banks. So there we go, Mihi into the 154.8. So Mihi, well done. A 154.8. That's going to be pretty hard to beat for Clive. He'll be shaken down on pit lane, I reckon. He's ready to finish this race off. They're coming 4th place in the 300 aspect, but still only a couple of laps off P3. So podium still up for grabs there if Team Banks can get going. James Thompson and Henry Goff there, 10th place. With Sam Hussain, Dylan Matosha and John Chiani, Lewis Shaw. Those are your teams in 10th, 11th and 12th as we get 33 minutes to go. And Billy, is this pretty exciting endurance racing? How do you like this?
Yeah, it's quite different, and it's a big step up.
Good. So pretty cool. So what other sort of riding have you been doing? You doing any motocross riding or anything else?
Yeah, I've been doing some motocross riding recently. Yeah, that's about it to be honest.
Oh, that's good. Awesome stuff. Yep. Multi-talented, your father, he was one of my heroes when I was younger. And that was just surprise giving, so let alone on the racetrack. So cool to have the next generation of Fullers out there doing it. And Zach, very impressive last year, top 3 campaign in the Pro Twins, and must be pretty proud to be part of Team Fuller Racing out there.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Exceptional riding in our family, so hopefully you'll do the same.
Well, you have done. You're the champion. You are the winner of the 150 race, and put a lot of pressure on your brother to see where he can end up as well. So fantastic stuff, and great to have Billy Fuller up here. We've got this one here. We've got a bit of drama in the pits as we've got Dave Fellows coming in at the moment. So that'll be the first of the big changes in our top 3, and we've got it all on here. So it's not looking good down there at the moment. We've got Nathan Jane, S.J. Cavell and Dylan Telford out there for the final stints. We've got Ben Rosendale about to finish this race off as well, with Vaughn Main and Tyler Brown now up into P5. So pretty cool stuff to see those guys here. They, like we said, had a bit of bike troubles in that first lap, but managed to get themselves into the sharp end, the top 5, as we've got 31 minutes to go, and about to see pit lane come alive for the final time in this 2-hour.
Seems to already be alive. There's a little bit of action-packed there. It seemed one bike was getting pushed through the pits, so looked like it was the Telford bike there, either Dylan or Dave Fellows on it, but don't know what happened. Just saw the bike frantically getting pushed, and like you touched on as well, pit lane is an exciting place. Great, because that involves everyone else that's come along to help these riders get out on the track. Huge thank you to them. There comes another one scooting down the back. Great to see that back straight, but they go straight ahead down into the new little flip-flop area that gets us into the pit road. So some alterations going on to the Taupo track here at Bruce Mclaren Motorsport Park, and they are into racing and they are into looking after us, and great facilities they put on.
Yeah, I do really appreciate that new pit lane entrance, because it's sort of, you have to dive off the racing line to exit the pit, so you sort of scrub some speed to get off the track and you're still on the racing line. So doing that way there, much prefer that. Really cool, especially in an endurance race where you're in and out of the pits quite a bit. Fantastic stuff. And yeah, well done to the Bruce Mclaren Motorsport Park. For the scenes look absolutely immaculate here. They always put on a good presentated track, and the CCMR, the Circuit Club Motorcycle Register, they are the ones officiating this event. So Chris Costello, although he probably can't hear us, he's doing a wonderful job, and very cool to have him at the helm. Jane Percival as well, our steward for the meeting as well. So all part of the team, the flag marshals as well. Where would we be without them? Without them we can't go racing. So everyone, the medics and all that included, just all part of the aspects here. With half an hour to go, we're 3/4 of the way through this one, 30 minutes to go, and we're about to get those final riders out there on track and really see where we're all sitting, Jared. All right, really into the business here now, 26 minutes to go, and we've got Jared Horne, Ben Rosendale, that pairing still out there, so looks like Jared just might be going a little bit deeper into the stint, the other guys into pit lane, so when the timing screens all shake up, we see Nathan and Jacob. So Jacob's got that 4-minute and 8 lap time locked in, so that means he's come in and changed, so now he's on a flying lap. We'll keep an eye on that one there. So certainly the team in command of this one, 26 minutes to go, and now Jacob. We've got a bit of drama down the back straight as we say that as well, so keeping an eye on that one. I'm not sure, was that Jacob perhaps? It might have been. Keep an eye on those ones. It might be the iconic number 11 out there, so this could be drama. We just talked about how much in command they were. Definitely and put the commentator's curse on them, so absolute drama here.
See the CBR front here, Jacob, Stroud, everyone that's watching this one, Nathan, Jane and Stroud. He's parked it against the wall. Looks like a little bit of shit. He's taking a look at this. and he wanted to see how fast runners are. So he's taken the transponder off and he's running as fast as he can down the back straight. Incredible scenes here. The leader has had a problem with the bike, so he's running back with the transponder, which he can do. He'll pass it on to his teammates, so hopefully they're down in the pits and they're ready for it as well. Maybe trying to push it out. Was talking to Nathan Jane and a few of the other boys. They don't have fuel lights. Some of the bikes, some of them will flash up all the time because of the ECUs and the wiring harnesses and stuff that they are running. They really don't have a fuel system that's going to tell you a couple laps. So calculations are out, and this is the excitement that we wanted to see.
I'll tell you, I'm quite impressed with that speed he's running at, because motorcycle leathers are not designed to do anything apart from ride a motorcycle, and that is pretty good pace. So the helmet's on and everything. More entitled to run with the transponder in his hand, but this is eking into that big lead of theirs, so this is going to be drama. And hopefully, if he can get that sorted out and get the new bike on board, we might be able to finish this one there in a respectable position, but any chance of winning this race is evaporating quickly for team Jacob Stroud and Nathan Jane. So a bit of drama here. We were talking about how in control they were, and the team called NZ number 1 and Jacob, what a cool team. NZ number 1, that is Nathan Jane. And we've got Jacob Stroud as well. So let's see how he can get back in this race. I'll be interested to see what sort of time they've got when they get going again. We've got SJKL, Matt Bro. They are going to now be well and truly in the driver's seat. We've had drama for Dave Fellows. He had to push his bike down pit lane for a stage there, so he might have pushed it a bit fine on the petrol. We'll see what happens here. So there we go. The changeover has happened, and we've got Jacob now out on Nathan's bike, it looks. So there we go. I'm not sure what has happened to that MT-07. I'm not sure if it is fuel, because he's only just started his stint as a rider. So I'd say on the first flying lap, big drama, and the bike a complete standstill down the back straight. So let's update this one with 23 minutes to go. Your new race leaders, SJ Cavell and Matt Bro, they've just come from absolutely nowhere to inherit a decent advantage over Jared Horne, Ben Rosendale in second place. We've got Dylan Telford and Dave Fellows there in third. Nathan Jane and Jacob Stroud are clocked in at fourth position at the moment. So I reckon with a last time lap of a 4 minute and 4:08, and that is including running about 300 metres. So that's pretty impressive, Jacob Stroud. And you touched on it before, how much riding he's been doing through the winter. He's nice and fit. And I tell you what, if my bike was parked down the back straight, I'd say that's unfortunately a DNF for my teammate. So he's very much impressed me there to get going again. Vaughn, Main and Tyler Brown, they're gone now up into fourth place, and they just went green, which means that's the fastest lap of the race for Vaughn, Main. Well done to Tyler Brown out there as well. I'm not sure who's out on track. I think it might be Tyler, and Vaughn definitely started this race, so the 1:47.3, and mixing it with some high quality pace out there. Well done to those two. Now up into fourth place, and they come from way down at about 8th or 9th early on in this one, so that's pretty impressive. We go to Caleb Gilmour and Jake Lewis. We've got Caleb out on track at the moment, I believe, with Jake starting this race and doing the third stint. There we go. Nathan Jane and Jacob Stroud now in 6th overall. So with 21 minutes to go, if Jacob can get into a groove and tick some laps off, he might be able to get himself back in the mix. But quite a few people on that lap, not the lead lap. There's only 3 bikes on the lead lap, but the one after that, there's about 4 or 5 riders on it. As we see SJ Cavell, our race leader, crosses the line into turn 1. He goes, and brilliant stuff from him. And that just goes to show endurance racing, Jared, never do over till it's over.
Yeah, exactly that. It can be the tortoise and the hare, can't it? To win first, you must finish. So, yeah, bad luck, eh? You've got to get across that finish line when the checkered flag comes out first. So never count your chickens before they hatch. Anything can happen. Just touching on base, yeah, Stroudy, 9 and 10 of them in the family. So, yeah, he obviously learnt how to run and stuff to the dinner table. So, great thing for him there, getting it back into the pits, getting that transponder on. He's been riding a heap this year on multiple different bikes. So, this is a real interesting thing to see. He's jumped on someone else's bike. Let's see what sort of lap times he has definitely been riding great. Broke the 300 lap record up at Hampton Downs. He has been riding an R6, and congratulations, he has been put into the Team Yamaha as well on the older model. Greg Percival there helping him as well. So he's having a huge bit of success. Interesting thing to see the next stint, how much he can get his way back, claw his way back, because they were the benchmark, like you said. They had this race in control, but unfortunately, whatever's gone on, which is out of their control, this has put some nice excitement in. It's a little bit better than watching home and away in Shortland Street there, Chris.
Absolutely. So there it is. He's down the back straight about, headed to the flip-flop, and this man here doesn't get enough credit, I believe. He's a 2-time Superlight New Zealand champion. He's a 300 Supersport champion. He was 2 NZ in 300 Supersport racing last season, and now he's out on a borrowed bike and doing some pretty handy lap times. So he finds himself in P6 overall at the moment, but only 25 seconds off Caleb Gilmour on the smaller 300. So he should be able to eat that up and get himself into the top 5. He's a little bit off the pace of Tyler Brown out there at the moment, so maybe, I think with 19 and a half minutes to go, maybe P4 is about the best they can hope for. But like we said, with how they got into this situation, it's never over until it's over. And SJ Cavell doing a good job in control of this one, the CD Vandermeer Builders team, ahead of Dylan Telford, who actually started this race on the single-cylinder 700, and we went to Dave Fellows on his Superlight machine, but they had a bit of drama as well, had to push the bike down pit lane, so we're not sure what's happened there. It's all part of the excitement and drama. We don't know what's going on, so we'll try and keep you updated as best we can. Ben Rosendahl, he did a great job in the middle stints there, and out there at the moment to finish this race off. Jared Horne, quite impressive on one of his first rides in SV 650 Pro Twin Racing. So that's them in the podium position at the moment. Vaughn Main and Tyler Brown up into 4th place with Caleb Gilmour and Jake Lewis. Caleb out on track at the moment, ready to finish this race off. The first of the 300s for them. We've got Nathan Jane and Jacob Stroud, early race leaders. They've led for most of this race, and now with about 20 minutes to go, some drama for Jacob Stroud's MT-07. That's parked up down the back straight. He managed to run the transponder back to the pit lane and grab Nathan's bike. And then we go with them in P6. Curtis and Richard Boyd, second to the 300s home at the moment. They are a father and son duo in 7th place, Campbell Grayling and Sean Parker. They find themselves there in 3rd place. And then the exciting team of Clive Banks and Mickey Banks. Clive 156.9, no answer for Mickey's 154, so that's quite comprehensive. Clive's got a lot of work to do if he wants to get the bragging rights in that team. But P9 overall for them, and the 4th of the 300s. We go to James and Henry. Henry out on track at the moment. We've got Doyle out on track in P11 with their team, the Drastic Motor Racing team, and John Charney and Lewis Shaw. Lewis out there on track at the moment for the team they call the Euro Trash. So pretty cool, and a great little take on some positive spins on some of these lap times. These guys having some fun out there. So 12 still running, Love Machine. That's pretty exciting when you can have 12 start, 12 still going with 17 minutes to go.
Yep, the only excitement really that we've had was the belly pan fall off, and Mr. Stroud there. Just keeping an update there, in P6 is Jacob Stroud's 2nd lap on someone else's bike, straight down to 46s again. So he's responded, but in 2nd position we do see, in 1st position we've got SJ Cavell, who is put his hand up this year for MNZ as well, helping out in that. So great to see him having the success. Nice guy around the track and getting some results as well. So P1, but in P2 we've got the Telford and Fellows team, and they're looking racy. They're doing 44s. So there is a 2nd difference between those two. There's 16 minutes to go, and there's a 57-second gap, so about half a track, just under half a track. So keep an eye on that one, and also keep an eye on the P6 one of Jacob Stroud and Nathan Jane, really putting the hammer down, trying to go for it. It'll be interesting to see what they can do. He's sitting at 46 flat, so that was his 2nd lap pass. He goes through for his 3rd lap pass straight away, 45.3, so incredible lap time there. He had, like me and Brad just touched on before, he had to run from the back straight across, throw the transponder on. He couldn't send his other rider out. He had to jump onto that bike. He hasn't ridden that bike before, so he's out there. Took him 2 laps to get things sorted, and he is on the pace, and he's going to be wanting to go for the front. But in 1st position we have SJ out there holding things tight, and he's only got 15 minutes to go. 2nd position we've got the Telford Fellows bike there, pushing on 44s there, but the gap doesn't seem to be dropping at all. We have Horne there. Great ride from Jared Horne, man. You really impressed me up at Auckland Motorcycle Club. One of Ben Rosendale's mates there, he said, hasn't been racing. Thank you to Ben for getting him out there. You're an absolute superstar, mate. And really looking forward to the Suzuki series that's coming up. Great job that they've been doing, putting on that series. So I'd love to see Jared Horne there, and hopefully at the Nationals as well. He's at SBK, which will be coming up in starting in January. Third position, we've got Gilmour there, first of the 300 bikes. Fourth position, sorry, is Vaughn Main there, 1 lap down. Fifth position, Gilmour and Lewis. Great to see Jake up there fly a superstar like that in the P5 as your number 2 rider is a pretty cool thing. Jane there in 6th, the SV as well. Great job that Jacob's doing, showing his class, coming out on somebody else's bike and putting in 45.3. That's incredible. And he will also, I think, is on the 600 as well. We'll have to have a little look through the pits and stuff. He has been campaigning that 600 as well in the Hamilton and the Auckland Motorcycle Club days for their series. So it's great to see him out, and he's on the move.
All right, here we go with 14 minutes to go, and pretty cool some stuff we can see out there as the team of Lewis Shaw and John Ciani, the Euro Trash team, fastest lap of the race for them, a 1:56.2. So that's pretty cool when you can come here and just get better and better, and some pretty cool feelings when you can get your fastest lap of the race right at the end. We've got this one here with 13, nearly 14 minutes to go. So right in the business end. Dave Fellows is out on track at the moment, so it'll be interesting to see if he can get into that lap. It's about 56 seconds, so 56.3 seconds the gap, and with only 13 minutes to go, I think maybe a bridge too far. So SJ Cavell and team Matt Rowe, seems CD Vandermeer Builders, they are in the driver's seat at the moment, but we've still got 13 minutes to go. As anyone's really up for the grabs, then 56 seconds back to second place, which is Dave Fellows on the Superlight machine. We've got Ben Rosendale out there in third on his machine as well, the KIP Racing. So a big shout out to all the fans here at Bruce Mclaren Motorsport Park. And if you are just new to the circuit or haven't been here before, I can highly recommend going for a walk right around the outside and having a look at some of the spectator points around the outside of the track, as we've got some action here with SJ Cavell just getting a lap down, putting a lap down over Jacob Stroud. So that is not for position, that pass he just put on, but Jacob Stroud still in the 145s on the borrowed bike, so he can't be too unhappy with that. But SJ Cavell now in the driver's seat of this one, so great stuff from him. SJ on the Butylene Oils Bridgestone tyres machine, great personality, and like you touched on as well, a board member as well from MNZ, so cool to have SJ there, and Jacob Stroud, pretty impressive just to jump on that bike there, Jared.
Definitely, yeah, I think SJ was already in. Jacob seems to be riding up to him, so incredible. I was just saying it before, Jacob jumps on someone else's bike, like you said, me and you couldn't run from that other side of the track, we'd be done. But man, I couldn't throw the thing either, the transponder with the bung shoulder, but Jacob ran across, jumped on someone else's bike, smart. He took 2 or 3 laps, he's conserved things, and now he's already into the 45, so incredible thing there. Got to give him credit for that. And that's sort of what we do. We are competitive creatures here at Motorsport, so that's why we sort of do it. And I see this new Hot Lap Challenge board coming, and it's got some pretty cool names. One of my heroes, Aaron Slight, then Tony Reeves as well, Zach Fullett, SJ Cavell, Matt Rowe, Mitch Reeves there. But I see the first one, it's like you know much about this?
Yeah,
like
so a couple of years ago we debuted this, the Bruce Mclaren Motorsport Park. We've got a Honda CB500, one of the naked touring bikes, and they thought they'd bring sort of like a modelled on the Top Gear Hot Lap Challenge. So you go out there and do a lap, but we have shaken it up a little bit. You see Tony Reeves with the 1:32.8. That was the second fastest time at the moment, but that was on cold tyres, and then Slidey got the second lap with the warmer tyres, so that's what Tony reckons. And now these guys here, 4 of them about to take place in this one at lunch break, and there's tyre warmers on this thing. So this thing now, I reckon Slidey's in big trouble here with these 4 younger guys really going hammer and tongs with some ultimate bragging rights. Forget about the Forget about the endurance races. This is what it's all about, the Hot Lap Challenge coming up in the lunch break. Brilliant stuff as we start winding down. 10.5 minutes to go. SJ Cavell, we're just having a look at that time. Dave's been able to take a second a lap out of him, but it's a bit too little too late at the moment as SJ he's riding along with Jacob Stroud there. Jacob on the borrowed bike. His bike had a bit of a malfunction, so he's now on Nathan Jane's bike. He's in P6 and really starting to reel in the team in front of him, which is Caleb Gilmour and Jake Lewis. Caleb out on track at the moment. So there it is with SJ out in front. We're just waiting for Dave to cross the line, and now 54. So takes half a second out, but it's just a little bit too far to climb with only 10 minutes to go, the final 10 minutes of this race. And then the checkered flag comes out to our lead rider, which at the moment is SJ Cavell with Matt Bro, his teammate. These guys are the defending 2-hour champions, and it'll be interesting to see if they can go for the repeat. We've got a shout out for Ben Rosendale. He's a former Pro Twin champion, teamed up with Jared Horne. Jared Horne's been quite impressive this weekend. I've been impressed to see him. They're a minute 17 off the pace, but in a comfy third position with Vaughn Main and Tyler Brown. Tyler out on track at the moment. He is in fourth place. Caleb Gilmour, Jake Lewis, we talked to them before. They are the first of the 300s at the moment and on the shared bike as well, so quite impressive for them. We go to Nathan Jane and Jacob Stroud. A couple of laps off the lead lap, but definitely a credit to Jacob Stroud to get that machine back going again and out there in the top 5. So we've got Curtis and Richard Boyd. That's P7 for them, but second in the 300, so they'll be quite excited about that. And third place and 8th overall in the 300s is Sean Parker out on track with the team from the Rogan Chandler Fan Club. What a cool name. Yeah, so a big welcome to anyone watching on Ctas Live. The first time I've had Ctas at this endurance race weekend, and it is pretty cool. So there we go. We go back to Mickey and Clive Banks. Clive in the 156 last time around, so still no answer for that hot time of Mickey's at 154. We're going to keep an eye on that one, but running out of laps at the moment. We've only got 8.5 minutes to go, and rounding out the top 10, Henry Goff out there on Bori's mum's team. That's a cool name as well. Love a bit of fun out there. We've got the Drastic Motor Racing team, Doyle Matosha out on track, and Lewis Shaw for the Euro Trash entry. That's 12. The 12 start, 12 still out there at the moment. There's only 2 on the lead lap, and one of them, SJ Cavell, starting to really stamp his authority on this one as we wind down. Jared.
P4 there, that's an interesting name. I won't call that one out. And also you touched on the old naked bike, not naked, no fairings bike that will be out there. I just thought that would be another class.
No, I wasn't talking about the Tokoroa Supercross back in the 90s there.
Yeah, my money would be on SJA. Zach, yeah, he's all right. Matt's good, but I don't think Mitch is going to... he won't be that good on this naked thing. Look at Tony, he's 4 seconds off Slighty, so Slighty's still my hero. It's a bit of a heroes board and a bit of a battle board. So the cool thing is, all of these guys that you get to see here racing, you can just come along and hire the bike and scoot out there and have a go at them, and see where you compare.
So this is, the bike is owned by the Bruce Mclaren Motorsport Park team, and this is going to be a thing we're trying to get through the summer and build up the Hot Lap Challenge, and your name goes up there, and you get immortalised. Just being on a board with Aaron Slight and Tony Reeves is quite an honour for these guys as well, so fantastic. Something to look out for at the lunch break, but at the moment we're locked into this one with 7 minutes to go. SJ Cavell still in command of this one. He's out of turn 5 on the run into turn 6, and that awesome blue and yellow machine, the Pudeline Oils entry. He's got some fantastic sponsors on board, one of them CD Vandermeer Builders. Big welcome to Carl and the team. I saw Carl down there before, and great to have him in the pits as well. Matt Bro as well, part of that CD Vandermeer Builders team on the SV650s. And like we touched on, SJ now part of the Motorcycling New Zealand board, so giving a lot back to the sport as well. So fantastic to have that in the pits. And SJ, one of the nicest guys in the paddock, and your MNZ North Island Road board member. So fantastic he can be out here and have a real presence on the track and also behind the scenes as well. So they've got a 52.9 second advantage. So Dave, he is slightly sneaking a bit of that lead down, but with 6 minutes to go, it is looking quite far to climb for him.
One on the move there is number 5, Stroud one. He's moved up into 5th position. Just looking through, I normally look at all of the lap times, 45s, 44s. Everyone sort of gets their pace. The main one that I'll be looking at on MXT now is the gap. We've got a 52-second gap there, so it does look pretty safe, dropping back to a 23 second. So that's almost achievable. But then we're down one lap, 8 seconds. You can do that. So Gilmour against Nathan Jane. So Jane Stroud has actually ridden through. Credit to him, doing some incredible lap times. He's rolled it off now that he's got there and sort of matching the pace of Gilmour, and he sort of knows that he can't sort of go on. So that is the difference with, it's a bit more like a chess game. It is a longer race, this one, an endurance one. So great to see that stuff happening.
Yeah, and I can tell you that Ben Rosendale's put his fastest lap of the race, and a 1:44.8, so that is pretty impressive as well. So right there with the time that Nathan Jane did earlier on in the day, he'll be pretty happy with that, I think. SJ Cavell, he's also got a 1:44.6 as well. So these guys are all taking valuable information and data into the summer as well. It's not just about a 2-hour endurance race to try and win, it's vital track time for them. And out there we've got a bit of cloud cover coming over, so we'll keep an eye on the weather. We're going to have a short lunch break after this race and then into the 3 hour. So I tell you, looking at the sky out there, there'll be a few nervous superbike riders, I think.
Definitely. They'll just throw it topsy-turvy, won't it? Like everyone the other day, we were working on a very good dry setup. We had that this morning. It rained, so the boys were out there for qualifying on their wet bikes. Some have got wet bikes, some haven't got them, but they've if it's going to be a wet race, it's just going to throw everything in. 600 then wouldn't get so hurt by the superbike, so it'll be interesting. One thing to look for in the next one is some of them have 600s and some of them have superbikes as well. So contrasting things, it is the little bike against the big bike.
All right, our leaders are into the flip-flop, and Jacob Stroud on the borrowed bike's really starting to put some pressure on SJ Cavell. So SJ's got to be careful. He's not in the overall fight. I wonder if the pit boards told him this is not a race for position. This is just a man getting back onto another lap. So there's still one lap down, but he's got one of those laps back at the moment. Jacob Stroud, quite impressive. Having a look at that lap time was a 1:46.5. So yeah, he was well quicker than SJ. SJ's just sort of rolled off a little bit now and trying to get this thing home. It's only 3.5 minutes. So with them lapping in the 1:45 to 1:50 range, should still have about 2 to 3 laps to go on this one, but SJ, quite a sensible ride here at the moment, just doing enough and not overdoing it. But looking at how far Stroudy's pulling away from him, I hope there's nothing wrong with SJ's bike, because it's definitely not looking nearly as competitive as the one in front of him.
Well, that's one interesting thing too, and the other thing is hopefully his team's communication to him, telling him what's going on, because yeah, we are racers, we are competitive, we like attacking each other, and SJ has got this thing in the bag, like you touched on as well. But when someone passes you and you're winning, it's not a nice feeling. So congrats to Jacob, great ride for him to get himself unlapped and put the hammer down and try as hard as he can. But hopefully SJ and his team down there, all the people that are supporting him to get into this position and enabling his weekend to hopefully take this championship, have given him the information to roll that thing off, mate, bring it home.
Yes, well, he was 4.5 seconds slower than Dave Fellows that last lap round, but still 46 ahead. So interesting to see where this all pans out. Equal for pace was the man in third place, Ben Rosendale, same as Dave Fellows, the 146s. So there we go, he remains 24 seconds off second place, but pretty comfy in a podium spot at the moment. We've got Tyler Brown, Vaughn Main, they'll be stoked with fourth place if they can pull that off. Nathan Jane, Jacob Stroud, they are now just one lap down, but with only 2 minutes to go. Fifth is about all they can hope for. We'll see. They have 22 seconds off fourth place, so yeah, that's probably just about doable. It'll have to be a hell of a lap from Stroudy, but if anyone can do it, it'll be that man there. Last lap around a 1:45.2 for Jacob Stroud, so just showing his class at the moment. So we've got action on here. We're into the final 2 minutes of this one. SJ Cavell, he's through the S's at the moment on his way to turn 4. Beautiful off-cambered rolling right-hander. Then into turn 5 he goes. So we've got a minute and a half to go. It's SJ Cavell at the moment. We've got Dave Fellows. Looks like he's just coming to the pits. So with only a minute and a half to go, this could only mean drama for them. Surely something mechanical or something technical there. You wouldn't come in with a minute and a half to go. We'll have to keep an eye on this one. But the man in second place, I believe, has just dived into the pit lane. So this has opened things up for the podium as well, as we've got Ben Rosendale and Jared Horne on the lead lap. So there's 3 bikes on the lead lap, and now they'll inherit second place if they can cross the line and get that thing going. And could this mean Vaughn, Main and Tyler Brown might sneak onto the podium, and Jacob Stroud, we'll see where he is. He's down the back straight at the moment, and he might get himself back into the top 4, so plenty of drama if into the final minute. And our race leaders, we've also got another one going in on the pits there as well, so I'm not sure. Maybe we've got some rain down the back end that we can't see in the commentary box, I'm not sure.
Looks like fuel. I just saw the bike scooting through there, and he was pointing down, so the calculations, hey, we're not that good at maths being motorcyclists, but calculations haven't worked out, and boy, this has put on a little bit of pressure. And as we watch too there, Jacob Stroud on track. This is a real good little dust up. He's got the hammer down, and he is going after that position just in front of him.
Here's that race leader out of turn 14, the final corner, white flag time, 1 lap to go. So there's 14 seconds on the clock. That'll dissipate and run out of time, and then the checkered flag will be ready and waiting. So it's going to be SJ Cavell or it's going to be Ben Rosendale. Those are the two on the lead lap at the moment. We're not sure what's happened to TR20. We saw Dave dive into the pits. And we've got it all on here, so keeping an eye on this one. We've got Tyler Brown and Vaughn Main. They're out there doing it as well, so maybe they're a couple of laps down from our leaders, so maybe just need to catch up that lap on Dave Fellows and Dylan Telford. We'll see how this all pans out, but plenty of drama on the final lap of the 2-hour endurance race. We've got Jacob Stroud doing a wonderful job. Last time around he was a 1:45.6, so that's pretty good on a bike he's never ridden before. He's flying, so that's P5, and we'll see how they get on here. So SJ Cavell, let's keep an eye on him as he heads into the racecourse section, the right-hander, then the left-hander. Half a lap to go for SJ in the team CD Vandermeer Builders. It was him and Matt Bro that won this race last year in dominant form this year. He has been really challenged by a couple of national superstars, namely by a former two-time F3 champion and Jacob Stroud, with the current Super Pro Twin national champion Nathan Jane. That's the entry that had this race almost in the bag until a bit of bike trouble has put them well and truly outside the podium. They're in 5th place at the moment. We've got Ben Rosendale. He is a former champion of Pro Twin Racing. He's in 2nd place at the moment, but 59 seconds off SJ. We're going to have a look at this one here as we see SJ. Let's get on our feet and applaud this one here. He's just got the flip-flop to contend with. The number 9 machine on the Puteline Oils and Bridgestone tyres entry around the final left-hander. He is out of turn 14. The checkered flag ready and waiting. So a 2 from 2, back-to-back champions. And SJ Cavell, Matt Bro, Team CD Vandermeer Builders are going to win your 2-hour endurance race. Fabulous stuff, and in the end by a comfortable margin is almost 59 seconds back to Ben Rosendale and Jared Horne. And I tell you what, these guys, Ben Rosendale, Jared Horne, they've just been chipping away, and now here they find themselves in P2 at the business end. So fabulous stuff, but it's not over till it's over. They haven't crossed the line yet. All we can tell you at this stage is that SJ Cavell has in fact won this race with Matt Bro, so a fabulous tag team that is, and we're catching up an update. Most of our other podium contenders just down the back straight. We've got Ben Rosendale into the flip-flop. He goes on the KIP racing machine, so great stuff. Him with Jared Horne. Jared Horne has been impressive, one of the riders of the day so far for me, and brilliant stuff. So there's P2, well done to Ben Rosendale and Jared Horne, P2 in the 2-hour endurance race. And looking to round off the podium, we're looking for Vaughn Main and Tyler Brown, that team. Tyler out on track at the moment. We've got Caleb Gilmour and Jake Lewis. They've crossed the line to win the 300 Supersport aspect of this one here. So 5th overall for them, and overall winners of the 300 Supersport race. We've got Vaughn Main and Tyler Brown. That's going to be the podium for them. So well done to them. And they were not podium contenders at the start of the day, but that just goes to show how exciting endurance racing is. There's Jacob Stroud crossing the line, so that's 4th place for him, and a pretty good job considering he had to run about 300 to 400 metres of one of the laps. Very impressed with him to be able to get that bike back into the top 4. So we can round it up now with Matt Bro and SJ Cavell. That's your winning team. 2nd place is Jared Horne, Ben Rosendale. And on the podium, 3rd place for Vaughn Main and Tyler Brown. Brilliant stuff from them. 4th place for Nathan Jane and Jacob Stroud. We've got Caleb Gilmour and Jake Lewis in 5th place. In 6th, we go to Dylan Telford and Dave Fellows. They've had a few bike problems. There's still a piece of Aprilia belly pan down at turn 11. So they haven't had a day to remember, but some pretty good times and some pretty good racing out there for them. That's 6th place for them. We go to Curtis and Richard Boyd 7th place, but more importantly for them, the 2nd of the 300 Supersport entries. And then we go back to Mihi and Clive Banks, who managed to get up into 3rd place in the 300. So that's 8th place for them, and brilliant stuff to get 3rd in the 300s. Campbell Graney and Sean Parker, they are 9th overall and the 4th of the 300s. Then we also go to James Thompson and Henry Goff. So Henry finishes that one strong, get into the top 10. Brilliant stuff from them. We also go to Sam Houston and Doyle Matosha on the Drastic Motor Racing entry. And finally in 12th place, brilliant stuff from John Shiani and Lewis Shaw on the Euro Trash Racing. So that's all 12 entries. Update there. And scenes on the podium are going to have S. Jacob Matt Bro back-to-back defending 2-hour champions.
Just